Except it's the opposite of that because this is just a fucking dumb little podcast. All right, there you go. I don't know. I'm not sure if the mic can reach that far down because of how short you are.
I think we're good.
Okay.
Right? You know, is that
I was
a good
using
spot?
hyperbole. Actually, you probably will have to put it a lot closer to you.
Okay.
But that's all right. We all have our crosses to bear. You're short and I'm bald. I'm violently bald.
How are we sounding like right there to you?
I think closer.
Closer?
Yeah, how does that feel?
So close.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Now we get real raw.
All right.
All right. Let's see. Can you hear yourself okay?
Hold on 1 minute.
Yeah, no. Get it right. Get it right. Get it right. Get it tight.
No.
What's that song called? That's fucking... I found you, Miss New Booty. Remember that?
Yes.
Get it
yes,
together.
Yes,
Bring
yes,
it back
yes.
to me.
What
I think it's
radio
Paul Wall.
station?
I think it was. In fact, actually, if you want to put the mic like facing your face, there you go. Perfect. Oh Lord, girl, did you break it worse than I did? Here.
I can fix it.
Can you really? The benefit of having tiny fingers.
If I had my leather man, I really could fix it, probably.
Here, do you want me to do it? There you go. There you go. And then just use this fucker. Perfect.
There we go.
Yay!
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 30.
Hey,
oh my God.
That's a good one.
I'm very grateful that you came on the show. We have our guest Alanna today.
Hi, everybody. Thank
Hooray,
you for
Alanna.
having me.
Oh, we're very, very happy to have you. We've had an illustrious amount of guests and kind of guests. I don't know if you've seen any of the drama recently on my Facebook. Because of past guests that I've had.
Well, I can assume that I know who I'm talking about.
Pretty much anything I do. So, okay. Let's just start with the fact that it's my fault because I know, number one, I knew getting into this whole thing that it was going to be contentious to some people.
Is it your
you know what
fault
I mean?
that other people get offended, though?
No,
whose responsibility is that?
Right. So... But I also know that some of the ways I have to, quote unquote, or choose to post about certain guests can be a little shitty on purpose. So I know that. So, but at the same time, I'm still trying to figure out how to market.
You need to find your
you know
happy
what I mean?
medium. You need to find your happy medium.
my happy medium.
You know?
Not all my posts are going to be about rainbows and, motivational Monday fucking type of posts. So it is what it is.
And if you want to, dip into, the Sea-Doo bucket super early, it's like... The harder truth. The harder truth.
The harder truth.
You know what I mean? Just
so,
because you don't want to hear it doesn't mean that it's not a legitimate statement.
So, we've known each other since I want to say probably 2003, maybe 2002, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so both of us got sent to a place.
A very nice place.
A very nice place.
An emotional growth boarding school.
You're my first guest. It took 30 episodes. You're my first guest who actually went. I've been talking to a couple of other people. My friend, who I guess is in Oakland right now, but might move. I'd like to get a couple of other people, but you're my first. You're breaking the Sea-Doo cherry, if you will, which is very appropriate, I think.
I'm happy to do so, and I actually hope that you get a lot of other Sea-Doo alumni on here, just so we can get different perspectives on the experience.
Right, on the experience. And the experience it's an emotional growth boarding school, or was an emotional growth boarding school in the hills of Southern California.
And for people who don't know what that is, that's a place for rich kids to be sent on lockdown.
Right.
Basically.
For evil little children who, in
my
experience,
parents can get a third mortgage to send them places.
That is
as in
true.
the case of me.
Right, exactly. Or I have my parents, we grew up in Brentwood, Long Island. It wasn't certainly rich, and it wasn't destitute, but it wasn't great. You know what I mean? We didn't have money growing up, but people in my family possibly may have. And so that's where that, when Pete can't stop stealing, lying, getting high and drunk and,
basically we don't want him to end up in jail. Can we scrape up enough money to get these kids someplace else where they're not gonna? Basically my mom was I want to keep my kid alive till 18. So this is what my choice is going to be.
Right. And In hindsight, I like. There are a lot of people online. I don't know if you've ever been a part of those weird little Facebook groups or whatever.
Oh yeah, Friends of Sea-Doo and yada,
Right.
yada, yada.
There are a lot of people who I just will never get the fuck over it. Like, there's a lot of motherfuckers who like their whole marching song, from what I've seen anyway, is like rah rah, like they, like they're still living there. You know what I mean? Like, for me,
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
it was an
everybody had a
experience.
different experience, and like you need to understand like from the genesis of Sea-Doo and like
Right.
what it was when it was by runaways for runaways.
Sure.
It was probably really fucking magical, and like when like the profits were like being made and created by the people who
Right.
were creating them and actually making them to be what they were.
Sure.
That was probably a pretty fucking magical place to be, and that was probably
Right.
really great.
Right.
But then all of a sudden, corporate America is all like, well, hey, can't we just like charge people exorbitant amounts of money to have these kids come here and just use them
Right.
as commodities? Like,
Right.
so it's a super fine line, and I think that like depending on where what time in the timeline of Sea-Doo you went there, it was going to
Sure.
be different, and I think depending on what kind of person you were going to be there, it's going to be different.
Right. Right.
Like within 2 days, 24 hours of like me being at Sea-Doo, I had like in a rap, like they were belittling and like doing like, what they were meant to do.
Which is hard to do because you're pretty short already. So
Exactly. I'm already there,
no, I hear. Yeah. Okay. So a couple of things. Because you and I are going to speak a language a little bit.
Yeah, I
that
can
a
go
lot of
into
people
what
don't,
a rap is.
or even a prophet, whichever one you
Yeah.
want. If you want to take the reins on that, do it.
So like a prophet, like there's a book, God, what is
I think it's called The Prophet.
It's called The Prophet.
Khalil Gibran.
Exactly, and there's actually a really wonderful movie on Netflix right now.
Wow.
That it's beautiful done.
Okay.
I'll go into that later,
Okay,
but it's
okay,
beautiful
sure.
and everyone should watch it.
Okay.
But it's this book, and it's a really wonderful book, and what Sea-Doo, the original Sea-Dooese did is they made like emotional growth workshops, which are like, seminars that you would go to and you participate in.
Group therapy
Yeah.
type of things where you have a peer group, and your peer group is somewhere around 10 people, somewhere between 7 and 10 people who
Get
have
sent
that
away
experience.
when you get sent away.
Right, at roughly the same
Yeah.
time. You start the process off. They have school, and you're
Quote
up
unquote.
on quote unquote up on a mountain in by Lake Arrowhead in this city called Running Springs.
In a beautiful house.
Very beautiful.
Like at one point they had like one of the best rope courses in like
Oh, really?
Northern America. Yeah, out in
Okay.
the woods, like where like where
Oh wow!
yeah.
Hang on a second. I'm flashing back to that. I forgot that I did that. Wait, was that on campus or was that somewhere else?
There was like I don't know if it was being used. Like I never got to do the ropes courses on campus.
Okay.
But like at some point there was like
In like the 60s, the 70s.
yeah, like it
somewhere
was
there.
a ridiculous, like it was really, really popping at some point, and there were like it
Right.
was like there was like
Right.
animals,
Right.
so for like animal therapy, like
Right.
ropes course therapy, and like
Okay, let's just say that is because I don't know too much about like the history of
Yeah.
it really, but even if that was legit, I don't blame it too much on or thinking about it like monetarily things change so much in the course of the 80s, 90s, thousands. Of course it's going to be they're going to
Something's
have to
gonna
turn to
happen to
lawyers
make it
that became
happen.
yeah, or lawyers or corporate or something like just the rent alone for a massive thing like that has got to be exorbitant or whatever.
hugely.
Right.
Like I mean, there was a high school and a middle school, and like between
Right.
everyone, like not including staff, I'm pretty sure there were about like 250 kids on
Yeah.
campus, you
Yeah.
know? And so that's like housing, feeding, clothing,
Mm-hmm.
250 kids.
Not just paying for all the counselors. There's also therapists. There was also security. There was also
Staff members, like cooks,
maintenance people,
like-
cooks, the whole shebang. Right.
Yeah.
Here, put the mic a little closer to. Yeah, just pull it over to your right. No, that's okay. Perfect. Okay. It's gonna be awesome. So. Yeah, it's got to be fucking crazy. So anyway, it was based on a lot of those were based on Khalil Gibran's book.
Yeah, a lot of the poems, like there was like the children's,
there was
the
Truth,
challenge.
Children's, Brothers, Quest, Challenge, I think, or was that further on?
I can't even fucking remember.
I know, right? It's been
like
a long
like,
time.
and like I had a super traumatic time.
Sure,
there. Yeah.
absolutely.
So like I can't even like I can tell you like how long I had to like be on like pots and pans and like, dishes in the kitchen.
I dug
like
a stump with a spoon.
I had a stump too, but the
Did you
best
really?
part about it is like it was so far away, and once I had dug deep enough that I could just curl up and take a nap, that's all I do all day.
Man, the benefits of being small, man. I'm telling you.
like for real. For real.
I was way too big there to see my ass fucking a million miles away.
Exactly.
Okay,
They made me clean the dumpster with a fucking toothbrush.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's not like a dumpster like you walk up to it like in the back of an alley. I'm talking about like one of those dumpsters that they haul on the back of like semis.
Right.
Fucking toothbrush.
So I guess the basis of it, or maybe the basis of it when it started was different, but the basis of it when I went there was, okay, this is a school for a bunch of troubled people. Not everybody had drinking and using in their experience. There were some kids who like just had like a problem with like video games or something, or like there were some kids who had problem with stealing.
To give like an idea of like the kind of person that ended up there, Farrah Fawcett's kid went there. He ended up leaving. He got sent to like a different place because he was on a different level than a lot of us.
Right. Oh, I wasn't there at the same time.
Oh, you did not get to be there when Redmond O'Neal
I think you
was
were.
there?
You were one above me, weren't you?
I was like M or N, but they ended up like merging them when they really needed to like bring in a lot of like people.
Right.
Why
did they bring in people?
Oh, so like basically, you get sent away. You're there for 2 years. It's a 2-year program.
Right.
Like a year to the day, they ended up sending me to a wilderness. I was at the wilderness for a while. Ended up like getting like Lyme disease and like Bartonella and like Babesia out there. Yeah, like
how many of those are poop diseases?
None of them are poop diseases. All of them are tick-borne diseases.
Oh, fun!
Yeah, so fun.
Was it Ascent?
No, it was On Track.
Okay.
And so
I can't tell you how many people I've run into over the years in my spiritual program, if you will, who like, oh yeah, I went to Ascent or I went to this or that, and I'm like,
I know
dude,
what the fuck
let's
you're talking
talk.
about.
Right.
You know? But anyway, a kid ended up dying there after I left. Like when I literally I saw him walking in as like I was being walked out, finishing my program there, being sent back to CEDU for like another year.
Right.
And his name was Chase Moody, I think. And his dad.
It wasn't our Chase. Do you remember Chase?
No, it wasn't our Chase. It was a different Chase. His mom had just sent him to On Track.
Okay.
Thinking that it would be like good for him.
Right.
His dad had been a defense lawyer for the Brown schools. The Brown schools owned Ascent, they owned On Track, they owned CEDU, they owned all the other schools, you know? And so Chase's dad had defended the Brown schools
against
for
some lawsuits,
wrongful death and injury lawsuits.
Okay.
Long story short, Chase ends up dying from being illegally restrained and aspirating in his own vomit.
Wow.
And that was kind of the unraveling of like the Brown schools. So that was like a year before I was leaving. Like when I was leaving was like really when it was like deteriorating and like people were like getting like laid off, not getting paid, and like.
Did you graduate?
Technically, I graduated. They didn't let me walk because of like my relationship with somebody. I don't know how. Everyone who knows CEDU knows who I'm talking about, but I don't want to like blow up their spot.
Really? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So there was some stuff going on. There was a certain type of special friendship you had with somebody.
Super, basically, like, you know, we all go through like our shitty lives and we all like find, you know, and we all like get our like ideas of like what we think love is, and then there's that
I mean, we were fucking 17, 16 tops, like
15,
relax.
like barely 16 to 18 is when I was there. Like I just turned 16 and I was done being 18. Like I just turned 18.
Mine was
when I got
15
out.
to 17.
Yeah. So it's like we all have like our ideas of like what love is, but like I think that I had something with him that I hadn't had before, and it was more of like an honest like
connection.
yeah, like I see you for you. Like we never like as much as they want to say that we broke the sex agreement, like we never broke the sex agreement. Like the most we ever did was hold hands, and that's what got me kicked off the fucking stage. The day before we were graduating, like I'm leaving him for like who knows how long, who knows when we're ever going to see each other again. It's nice. We're sitting in the middle of the house, super wide open, holding hands.
Right.
Tony, the director, sees us, doesn't say anything to us. Like, don't you guys think you should be in, like, eating your breakfast or something?
Right.
And later that day, when I'm packing my stuff up in my room, like, one of my peer group members comes in and she's like, come on, Tony wants to talk to you. I'm like, this motherfucker's not going to let me graduate. She's like, what are you talking about? We are out of here tomorrow. This is like the end. We're fucking here. We did it.
Right.
And like we get in there and like Tony sits us down. We're sitting down. She's like all like whatever. And like Tony's like, I'm not letting you graduate tomorrow. I'm not going to let you walk. And
why
like,
was she there?
She was there because no staff member can be alone with another staff member.
Right.
Because there had also been like sexual allegations against staff members while we were there too.
You know,
there were physical abuse allegations. There were sexual abuse allegations.
Sure. Yeah, I mean,
like,
listen. Okay. A piece of me doesn't blame. Of course, you can't have don't have a goddamn sexual relationship with a kid. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, some of the weird shit, like, I've known a lot of dumb motherfuckers or great motherfuckers who've done a lot of great and dumb shit. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
no, for real.
You and I are both those people, right?
Oh, 1,000%. I don't think you can go through the world and be a good person and not
do some dumb shit.
Exactly.
Right.
Like, people hurt people. So you got to be able to break the cycle in order to live. So.
Right. And, you know, it's also been a long time, so maybe that's part of it. Maybe it's just, I don't think, honestly, part of it, I don't have the type of brain that, like, I don't like, take a lot of information and keep it for some reason. I know how to sing.
I'm good
but,
at
like,
getting rid of my trauma, too. Oh, my God.
God damn it. So I actually had one of the counselors there said that I might have been molested once, but I'm like, I don't think I really don't think I was. Like, there was some, you know, every kid like does a little experimentation with this and that, but like I didn't have any from what I can tell. But like I just think my brain, like, I just can't even remember a lot of weird shit from even a couple of years ago. You know what I mean? Like when the information's necessary, it comes up. But like, you know, I don't know.
And we all have different ways of processing.
Right. So anyway, what was that experience like of not being allowed to get on stage?
I mean, like, it was super, super shitty, but like I compensated for it.
Okay.
I can tell you later.
All right. Which is, yeah, anyway.
I wish I would have done more. I wish I would have taken like the step past, but I was concerned about upholding his integrity.
Correct.
You know? So like there was a boundary that I wasn't able to like get past. But of course, in retrospect, isn't retrospect fun?
It is very much.
You know? Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Right. But I mean, I don't know. I personally, even with all the shit, I don't have, you know, and you seem like the
I
type
wouldn't
of
trade
person-
it for a million years, including the Lyme disease, Bartonella, and Babesia. No, like, for real, like, this shit almost killed me. It almost put me in the fucking
Let's
ground.
break that down a little bit.
Okay.
What are the symptoms of these diseases?
So, Lyme disease is like an autoimmune disease.
Fun. Okay.
Bartonella can like leave you psychotic because of like brain stuff it can do to you.
Nice.
And then like Babesia is like in the malaria family.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So you were across the board.
Oh,
You were
yeah.
just
I was
ding.
fucked.
Fantastic.
And like especially in like our medical system.
Okay.
So like
Now you were still at On Track when you got those things.
okay, so I get to On Track and they're all like, Welcome to On Track. This is a place for really rich Texan people to come and kill the African game that we have brought to live in this acreage that we have.
Sure.
And like the different animals were separated by like fences and stuff. And so they're like, well, I guess we're not making enough money killing these animals, so why don't we take up this contract for these bad kids,
Brown schools still?
Brown schools still.
Okay.
To have these wilderness programs. And it's basically like you show up there. Like for me, my experience was they had me sleep in the main house in the pit for the night. And they have PIs, private investigators, come and like pick me up. In the morning, and we go and we get on an airplane. And the PIs I knew from before because they came and got me from.
So a lot of people have that PIs pick you up from. So for me, my mom, I don't know if it was a lack of money. I don't know what it was, but I was willing to go.
It was they had enough respect for you to ask you to go. You know,
maybe it's partially that.
Or
sure.
maybe they're like he's not gonna bail if we let him.
Yeah, I mean, I think give me like 6 more months of panhandling, I probably would have ran away. But I also was a fat kid. I can't run, whatever. But,
I can't get far.
Right. But like
These pigs are gonna catch me.
My experience was I actually was atheist and I prayed, which atheists are not supposed to do. I need help. And then the next morning, my mom calls me up. She said, I have this place for you to go to, blah, blah, blah. And that was the place. And we took a ride, on the plane the next day and went down there. So it was voluntary. But even then, there are a lot of kids who have PIs come to their house in the middle of the night. Their parents obviously get them there. And then they guard you on the plane to Cedo.
Yeah.
So you're saying it was the same PIs who took you to Cedo and then a year later took you to On Track.
Yeah. So how I got to Cedo was, I had a pit bull at the time, I was like 16 sleeping in my room. My mom comes and gets my dog out of my room, which isn't abnormal, let the dog out in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I had dropped out of school by then. I wasn't going to school.
Sure.
She let the dog out before she went to work. I'd wake up whenever the fuck I woke up.
Right.
And
you're 15 at the time?
16.
Okay.
Barely 16. Like I got sent away in September and I turned 16 in August.
Okay.
So I'm barely 16, takes my dog outside. She comes back up. The dog doesn't come back up with her. I don't hear him coming up the stairs. So I'm like, what the fuck? And so she comes in. She's like, remember when I said that if things didn't start working out, I'd find out a better place for you to be? And I'm like, bitch, what the fuck are you talking about? Get the fuck out of my room. And I like actually look at the doorway.
Right.
And there is my mother, this like short woman, and this huge fucking linebacker looking motherfucker standing behind her.
Right.
And my mom leaves and this woman like addresses me and like I'm like, you need to leave too. And like I turn around to go back to bed. She comes and like rips the covers off of me and like I was like, obviously, like, I can't do anything in this situation.
Right.
Like, I can't jump out a window. I'm on a second story fucking thing. So I look at her and I'm like, listen, we can either like have this be a good trip or we can this be a bad
I like how
trip.
you're trying to fucking bargain.
No, for real though, it worked like a motherfucker. And I'm like, if you want this to be good, let's not do it this way. And she looked at me with like super respect. Her demeanor changed 1,000%. And she's like, I need you to pack. I'm like, how long am I going to go for? She's like, pack for a week. And so I go and I pack for a week. I make like a couple phone calls. She lets me call my friend because I've like picked up a job working for my friend's mom. So I'm like, I'm not going to come into work. Could you let your mom know?
Before cell phones.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was a cell phone, but like
really?
I couldn't have my cell phone after. Yeah.
Right.
And then this was like, originally I was supposed to be sent away on 9/11, but 9/11 happened, so like their plane ticket up and our plane ticket back got canceled. Right. So they had to get a car, and they had to drive up, and we had to turn around, and we had to drive all the way down to fucking Running Springs.
Where were you living
Oakland.
before?
Oakland,
oh,
California.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know there were a lot of us from the Bay. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, like I was actually really lucky too because I lived in so many different places around the Bay that like everyone who came in, I was like, yay! hey.
Oh, really? You knew some
know?
motherfuckers?
Like, not that, like, I knew someone, but, like, we had something to, like, relate
all
to.
right,
Like,
all
something
right.
to be like, let's talk about this. You know? Like, give me a taste of
Story
this.
and
like,
King. Yeah, I know where that is. Shit, yeah.
Exactly.
In and out, motherfucker. I get it. All right.
And so Roy and Gloria were the people that came and got me.
Okay.
So fast forward, they're sending me to On Track. I get to On Track. You know, they do the whole, like, strip search that you get at Sea-Doo, and, like, then...
This was a year later.
A year to the fucking day.
Okay.
Like, boom, boom, boom,
Roy
boom.
and Gloria's like, hey, remember this?
Yeah. You know? It's like,
All
you
right.
ready to go, honey? Let's go!
Right,
you know? But really, honestly, like, they were wonderful people, and I love them. And they were, like, they were PIs, but they also had some kind of, I don't know, not like...
License for something.
Yeah,
right?
it's a license to, like, be able to... So, like, say you're a runaway kid. Your parents call you. They get their case. They go and they find this kid, and they're like, dude, my dad and my mom are fucking raping me. Like, it's not a fucking cool place for me to be. I cannot go home. They're able to take these kids into their home. Their house is a safe house.
Right. Okay.
So, like, they're, like, legit honest people.
They were together?
Yeah, they were husband-wife team.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And, like, he was, like, some linebacker in Texas. And, like, they're wonderful, beautiful people. And I really, like, I'm like, how do I find them? How do I let them know, like, what I'm doing? You know?
Yeah.
But, so we get to the wilderness, and they're like, here are tube socks to protect you from the ticks. And, like, so basically it just gives the ticks a way to undetectably climb
Burrow
up
into you.
Yeah.
Right.
So, like, we would get them behind our ears, like behind, like in our groin, in our butt crack, like all kinds. Like, taking...
Who pulls a... Especially when you're 16,
Dude.
17. Man.
Dude, it's fucking
Can you feel
awful.
a tick?
Yeah, like, I mean, eventually, like, because literally they burrow fucking into you. So, like, when they're fucking burrowed into you, you feel that shit. Especially when it's getting all, like, red and, like, inflamed around it. Yeah. It's fucking gnarly.
Okay.
Like, gnarly fucking disgusting.
Right.
And so...
What was the shit you did there? There was a lot of, like, chopping wood from what I heard.
No, chopping wood, that was more of, like, a scent.
Okay.
This On Track was basically so there are boys and girls there, but they're separated. And the only time that you're ever really close to boys and see the boys is when you're getting water. Because you're walking around to different campsites every day.
Right.
So, like, you wake up in the morning, you do what you need to do, you have to do your food stuff, and then you break down camp. Okay. And then you walk, whatever you're doing, you learn your whatevers, you do all the bullshit that you do during the day, and then you get to where you're going to camp next. And it's basically just, like, wherever they drop off the food bins and the water. Because you don't have to carry that shit around. You just have to carry, like, your camping gear. Mm-hmm. And then you set up camp, and then you just do it all over.
Okay, so they didn't have you do manual labor. It was
we got to do manual labor, like, once or twice a week, and that was, like, digging ditches and, like, reinforcing, like, fences and, like, moving rocks. Right. And, like, stuff like that.
But otherwise, it was similar to one of the wilderness things that they would have us on at Sea-Doo, where, like, we'll go to Sangargoni to Joshua Tree or wherever. Okay.
It was more like that. It was definitely one of the less intense places that you could be sent to. It was one of the pussy wildernesses.
But it was a 30-day wilderness that you went to.
It was a 28-day minimum. So, like, if you were, like, doing what you needed to do and, like, kicking ass and being, like, a model whatever.
Right. A model 16-year-old.
Yeah. So, like, well, I don't know if I can use people's name.
I'll cut her name, her last name out. But you can use her first name.
Okay, but anyway, so had gone there.
Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, maybe we shouldn't. I'll cut her whole name out. Yeah. But there is a lady.
So anyway, so one of the people who was at Sea-Doo when we were at Sea-Doo got sent there before me, and I ended up graduating before she graduated. So basically, like, if you weren't working your shit, you could be kept
there longer than 30 days.
Yeah.
Right.
And what it really was is, so you aren't supposed to go to wilderness in the middle of your fucking Sea-Doo program, in the middle of, like, your Brown School program. What the wilderness is and the corporate line of thing is, I don't know, like, how into the Cash for Kids scandal, like, you've been into.
No, I haven't heard any of that.
So, I mean, I would consider this part of, like, the Cash for Kids. So, like, basically, like, how you would get to go to CEDU is if a therapist or a psychologist would tell a troubled kid's parent,
right,
there's this place for your kid to go. They get a crack of the money that goes to there. Like, so referring doctors.
Similar to, I hear that a lot of psychiatrists get referrals from, so like, say Pfizer comes and says, hey, we want this. Here's a pen for Cialis instead of Viagra.
1000%.
You know what I mean? Okay, now I'm going to write Cialis instead of Viagra.
Exactly.
Right.
So then the kids end up like at this place where they're like, let's figure out what to do with these kids. So send the kids to the wilderness. So while the kid is safe at the wilderness and we're collecting money on this kid, then we can figure out which one of these other schools to send them to. Like,
Okay.
you know how there's like CEDU and
Right.
like
A ton of others.
a ton of others. So many, like in different states all across
Right.
the United States.
And there was always, because we're kids, but it's a human thing too. But there was always little stories. Oh, there's this place in Provo called blah blah, and these are the stories. I know a kid who died. Da, 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 so it gets passed around these stories and stuff. I remember that,
Oh,
but I
yeah.
don't remember the names of a lot of the other schools.
Yeah, like I can't remember any off the top of my head,
Right.
but they were different levels. Like, so if like you had problems with this, you get sent there. If you had problems with that, you get sent there. Different states had different laws.
Okay.
So if your kid was like more of like a physical person, they would send them to a state that had like a little less like they'd send them to Utah. Like, that's one of the things that you'd hear
So
about.
if you were more a violent kid, they'd send you possibly to Utah so that they could restrain you a different way.
Exactly.
If they needed to.
So they would
Okay.
have more legal
Right.
ways of like
Right.
doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Right. Or enforcing, or
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. It's really really devastating when like I think about it, and like really.
I mean, I honestly, when you came up, I was like really excited to have you on, and obviously there's multiple reasons why to have you on. Why is my computer? There we go. But I didn't anticipate, or I knew we would probably talk about this, so we can always come back to it, or we can dive, even further head first. But, yeah. I don't know. What would you? I always feel like. I'll say this. Let's about
hear it.
my personal experience.
I want to hear your personal experience.
Well, I can go into some of that too, but I would say just from a, it's been 16 fucking years.
I know,
right?
it's been so long.
And from way up here, being 32 and looking down on that, I don't fault my ma. I don't fault my parents. I don't fault for like dealing with me.
Nothing.
Good God, dealing with me. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I was a piece of shit. All right.
Oh, 1000%.
You know what I mean?
I'm so blessed that my child has not shown any of the things that I have shown by her age. I'm so blessed. Like,
She doesn't have a knife on her somewhere right now.
so far, so good. I
that's
have
good.
no like permanent,
Right.
like she's great.
And I also, and a piece of me also doesn't blame the counselors.
I don't want to blame anybody.
Right.
My
Okay.
thing is, like, my experience, like, in life, no matter what, whether it be a good experience or a bad experience, it shapes you as a person.
Absolutely.
But you have so much control over what you can do with the shit that's fucking handed to you.
Right.
Like, I would not be the person that I am.
Exactly.
And, like, not to be like, oh, the person that I am, you know?
Well, I mean, look at how blessed you are. You get to come on a podcast with Peter Edgar Feliciano. I mean,
Exactly.
how good.
Exactly.
But no, I hear what you're saying. But like, that's what I meant about like some people online. I'm not saying that I can speak from their experience because I'm not in their shoes. But I even know people who didn't go to CEDU who have the same type of thing where they don't live past their experience. They don't see what is good from it. They can't look at the past and go, yeah, that was kind of fucked up. But if I hadn't X, then I wouldn't be who I am today. There are a lot of people who don't learn that, I think, important adult trait of like being grateful for even the shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Somewhere in there, you know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying I can look at someone's experience and know that, but I've known people, just like I'm sure you do, who went through fucking ridiculous tragedies. Far worse. And are happier people than I'll probably ever be.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, so I do have a responsibility. I think that's, you know what I mean? Let me move the mic a little down further.
Do it. I'm slouching. I'm moving.
I like how it's your natural inclination is like, there's this black thing in my way. Let me talk to Pete. Anyway, so my experience is I got sent to CEDU. We went down there. Let's see. I don't know. I mean, it was a long.
I know it's hard,
it was a long time ago,
right?
and it was a long 2 years. But in general, I had about a month prior asked my mom. I said, I think I'm down to have therapy again because I had done therapy before.
So by the time you were going, you were already looking for a little bit of change. You were already searching for something outside of you.
Yeah. I had found it in drugs and alcohol. I had found it in panhandling.
You'd also figured out that wasn't working either. You had gotten to the point where you were going to ask something that you knew wasn't even fucking real, that you needed something.
Maybe. I think at that point, I still... When I think about it, I wasn't planning on stopping drinking or using it at all. You know what I mean? It's been 16 years. So
well, and like you didn't stop drinking and using at CEDU, right?
Yeah.
You did?
I got sent away and it's been, Bitchin',
been sober that's what's
for 16
up.
years. But it's not because, but like I said, it's not because, but it's not because, first things first, obviously, it's not because I'm the shit, but also it's not because I made that decision right then. I had kind of made that decision because I knew I'm a fucking manipulator. When I look back on it, I wanted, like as an example, as soon as I got sent there, I was like a week later, I'm like, okay, Mom, I'm ready to go home. Since I elected to go, I'm ready to go home. And she's like, well, Ma, babe, you're not,
it's not going to happen. Okay, sorry. I've already invested a lot into this.
And my family members did as well. But,
yeah, exactly. And to be able to send your kid away.
And not just that, but I have 3 brothers. Imagine from my parents, I'm not going to get too personal about it because it's not my right to fucking do it too much, but God fucking bless them. You know what I mean? God bless anyone dealing with the shit that I was doing. I was away from the entire month of November of 2001. I didn't go to school one day. I would leave for school, quote unquote, only if my, pops was there. And if not, I would go panhandle with my friends and, or stay at home until the crazies got me so bad I had to go out and steal. I would steal, I would panhandle, I would lie, I would manipulate, I would be violent, with people, but not even in a cool way, not in a tough way, but just in an ass I'm way. Mad and I'm gonna pull a knife on you, that made total sense to me at 15 years old. At 14, 15 years old, it was like, yeah, drugs. But as a way of life, as a fucking way of life. There are people in this world who can use drugs and alcohol successfully, and my hat's off to them. For me, it became this thing where it was like, this is a fucking, way of life. I could understand panhandling. I could, and buying natural ice,
this is
and other top
really
shelf
good,
shit. Right. And, but anyway, I got sent to that place, and, I started doing some of the therapy, but I'm also a master manipulator, and I immediately put on the face like, everything's good, I'm fine, nothing's wrong here, da-da-da-da.
This is just really not where I want to be.
Yeah, let me fucking slide. And I was lying to myself, obviously, whatever. And by the way, nowhere in my bones do I feel like, oh, that was just the most wonderful place in the world that I do all the things. I'm not one of those motherfuckers who uses the same inspiration. I don't know if we were talking. I'm not a Monday motivational quotes type of guy, number one, and I certainly am not using a lot of. I'm grateful for the place because it introduced me to the spiritual program that I have currently. I'm grateful to the place because if I'm not grateful for it, my other option is to be a bitter little shit.
Oh, yeah.
I'm grateful for the place because it introduced me to a different way of life, and that I really believe it did sequester me from my old life and gave me the opportunity, if I wanted it, to change. At the same time, there are a lot of fucking crazy shit that happened. There was a lot of weird Stuart Smalley type of shit. You know what I mean? There was a lot of looking in the mirror and doing weird affirmations. I'm a beautiful person.
Did you graduate too, or no?
I did.
So, like, you went through your summit and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
fucking weird.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird shit. There was a lot of in a couple of the prophets, as an example, there was one. I think the I Want to Live, where like I think it was I Want to Live, where like you have a pillow on the ground and you hit the pillow with another pillow, and the pillow's like supposed to be either your mom or your dad or your molester or something like.
Yeah.
I think that was the
antagonist to your
right
the person,
to whatever it is. So it was the type of really like weird experimental therapy type of thing. There was a lot of kids running into kids trying to get into
like really like looking back, it's like fucking like shouldn't I have like been like on some type of something to like have like.
Well, here's the thing. The school,
can
number
I do
one,
my summit again, high on mushrooms.
The school was started in the 60s, and all that shit started flowering in the 60s, 70s. That was all the hippies into
and like the Bible is
and,
fucking whatever. The fucking I cannot say his name. The prophet.
Khalil Gibran or whatever.
Yes,
right.
Like it's so weird to like think about. But I would actually really love to have a whole set of the scripts for those.
That would be an interesting get.
I would love to have that. That would
right.
be something that
right.
I would love to have.
Right.
Because there's like some weird shit like in the summit. Like the summit is the last thing that you have to do before you graduate, and so this is
right.
like having
two days, right?
If you're lucky, I guess. Like some ridiculous,
Sometimes
like
it would
a
be like
week
3 days.
long. Like no, like
wait a second, you're
summit,
right. Was it 5 days?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And like ours was longer than 5 days.
So you're
like,
sequestered. You and your peer group are sequestered for, as an example, say it was one of the earlier prophet days or seminar days or whatever.
Pretty much like up until you
Prophet,
get in,
that's what it's
the
called.
prophets, like the first ones, like the truth up and God, I wish that we could remember how many there were.
I'm going to say, there's a lot of people yelling at who are going to listen to this who are yelling at their,
yeah,
we're giving them a lot of fucking
idiots,
flashback out motherfuckers. And then there's also a lot of people I'm sure who are going to listen to this episode who are like, all right, this is fucking weird, like cult shit, and they're not wrong.
No, it is.
But there are also some people.
Bazillion percent. Like I cannot tell you anything fucking more. Like it's 1000% serious, like cult shit.
It was
like.
There was a lot of inner child stuff, but this is what I'm saying.
It was
even the people
stuff,
who started.
But the thing is, like, it was beautiful stuff. It was beautiful stuff. Like some parts, like I really do think, like the concept of like understanding that, like you have the ability to care for yourself,
right.
to care for your inner child, let's say,
sure.
in a way that like you didn't get at one
right.
point, like. Just because you didn't get it doesn't mean that you can't have it now. Doesn't mean that you cannot, So it's
right.
like I think that within. Just like every shitty thing that happens to you is just one step closer to being who you are,
Right.
It's like you got to take what you're given and try to make something good out of it. It's all really a choice.
Right. Obviously when you're young, though, you can't. There's a lot of us. I'm 32 now, but
I know, we're
I
still
can't.
babies.
I'm still a fucking real dumb in a lot of different ways. But
so dumb.
But there are a lot of people. I seem to find the more people I talk to, who are older, that the dumbness continues in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? I feel like.
But really, it's not the dumbness continues. It's the growth continues. Right? As soon as you think you know what the fuck you're talking about,
right.
is when you need to like.
I've heard it. It's similar to when somebody has an EKG and it's up and down and up and down. The minute you're flatlining, that means you're dead. So of course we're going to continue to flatline.
Exactly.
Not flatline.
Well, let's hope we can flatline for a little bit. We'll see. We can take breaks. That was a good like 48 seconds.
Right,
reset.
Right. Yeah. So I was in there for I want to say 4 months, and then there was this kid. Who I was? Are you okay with if we get into the little weirder, darker shit, or you want to?
Let's go there. Go anywhere you want to go. Let's do it. Yeah.
And then we also got to
on it.
get to cutting off penis skins.
Yes, we can talk about that too. We have so much time. Like, really, you should save that until you're all done talking about everything else, because I'll just
and then
take
the
over
penis
the
skins.
mic.
Got it. All right.
Yes.
Skinning
baby dick. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, right. but if it's yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm already ready to rant. But yeah. So about 4 months in, this is my experience, because I've said on the podcast many times, there's only like one thing that I'll save for like my spiritual advisors. You know what I mean? Like when my closest friends, I'm not going to put out there fucking some shit. But one of the things I've already talked about was being a peeping Tom at the school. And I think there was like 4 months in, I had gotten in trouble with
a disclosure.
This kid. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, that's the disclosures. It's like the things that you are ashamed to tell people because of the way that you will be judged and perceived. Yeah.
I don't even remember the language of some of this shit.
Yeah, disclosure.
Anyway. So, yeah, I had done that, and I remember like it was before then. I was 4 months dry, 4 months sober. And this kid, I suddenly had this
sober
idea.
While you were at CEDU the whole time? Yeah. Oh my God.
What? Shit was really fucking bad for me.
Did you ever like go and like steal a cigarette when you were doing like ride-alongs? You tried to, but you never...
I tried to steal a cigarette once. I didn't start smoking again until after CEDU. Then I started smoking again. I felt... Never mind. I was about to... I broke a number of the agreements, whatever the agreements are. Yeah, no, don't touch no titties, and no no drugs, no alcohol, and no violence. I certainly did the other two. But
oh my God, me too.
Oh my God. But I was watching this kid because I was his big brother or whatever.
Yes.
And like you're supposed to watch you get on babysitting duty to younger in the program kids. And so we're sleeping in the main house, and all of a sudden I had this idea, oh yeah, drugs. And so I tried to convince this kid, hey, we should get some drugs from somewhere. And he's like, yeah, I don't know, maybe tomorrow. I'm like, no, not tomorrow, son. Like fucking now.
Like everyone is asleep.
Right.
Like, we are in the main house right now. You do not know. Like we could be doing this right now.
Snatch? Aren't you a bad boy yardie? Don't you know how to get rid of bodies? That's the speech I'm telling this kid. And he's like, so I took him, convinced him I'm not a narc. And he's like, no, maybe if you choke yourself, you'll get high. And so
we used to do that
started to
stuff
choke
too.
Me, and I'm a pussy, so I tapped out. And then
well, you don't do it like that. You have to do it right. You have to do it right.
I've learned the way.
Oh,
but usually I only use it on females now. But God. I was...
No, for real.
But never front, kids. Always
only
by the sides. Always on the side.
It's not air that you're looking to stop. It's blood flow to the brain. It's where you feel the pulse.
You ever seen a girl pass out?
Side.
It's the hottest thing in the fucking world. Oh my God.
No, it's not the hottest thing in the world. I have been at too many parties being responsible.
No, not that pass out.
No,
I'm saying,
it's all the same to me. I do not like unconscious females.
It's only for a second. She comes back to, you hold her for a minute,
fine.
and she's fucking on fire. She loves
great.
her. Oh, it's beautiful.
Anyway. It's consensual. It's consensual.
So, so what was that?
That was me touching this part of it.
Stop ruining everything, please.
I know. Didn't it sound amazing, though?
It did.
We could, start
Let's
a
do
band.
It again.
Hold on. Yeah.
This is the best episode ever.
Yeah. 30. What now?
Yeah, episode
Try to
30.
top it. Let's see. I feel so sorry for the next 31. I'm sorry.
Don't feel sorry for them. If they haven't led their lives up to this point in order to become as amazing as Alanna, that's not their... You know what I mean? Like, some people aren't born with the genetics.
They are 31. They
that's
are
true.
31.
Maybe comes in after a year. It's very harp-like.
I really think that we could go someplace with this.
So he said, well, maybe there's another way we could get high is if you drink your own piss.
No, that doesn't work.
I love that though.
No, but actually, if you want to get down to brass tacks, there's this
brass tacks.
It's called urine therapy. I have not participated in it, but
what do you
I've
mean?
known. So
is this a real thing?
It's a real fucking hippie thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just for full disclosure, I did not drink my own piss. All right, I would tell you, motherfuckers, if I did.
I would hope so. I would hope,
but
that
I almost
you would
did.
Trust me enough.
I stole someone's water bottle. and
was it
drank a lot
Nalgene?
of water.
Was
it was someone's Nalgene. Nalgene is this company we all know although
like
Camelbacks came along.
There's 36-ounce big plastic things.
And
you
they
can
would
run
always
over
be this
them with
white,
your car.
oh my God, white with the blue top and shit.
But then
and,
they changed. They ended up having like the clear
yellow
plastic
ones.
colors.
Yeah. So
But we got the shitty white ones with the blue
ones.
tops.
Covered in fucking brown dirt.
Like the stuff,
just,
like the plastic that was not BPA, like anti whatever, and was just like leachy.
I'm having some fucking
let's do it.
flashbacks.
I know you want to talk about wilderness. Let's talk about like the 5-day wilderness.
I stole someone's water bottle and I drank a lot of water and we both go into the bathroom again. And he pisses in his, and I piss in mine.
Okay, at least you guys didn't mix each other's.
I won't necessarily, unless, because someone might know.
Did he drink his?
I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't. I'll say that. And then I was like, all right, maybe I'll get high tomorrow. And I threw the piss out the window. And then I went to bed, and then I told on myself and told on him.
Oh, you are a narc.
I did, dude. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, how could you be the person to have the idea and then have him?
I told you I was a piece of shit, dude. I told you I was a piece of shit. I was 15 years old. What am I supposed to do?
I'm so uncomfortable right now, Pete. Oh God.
So I'm 15 years old. I told you, because my immediate thing was I'm going to be goody two shoes, right?
I forgive you.
So, and then, so I was now going to be sleeping in the main house.
You're an atheist who prayed. Of course,
watching.
You have to tell the truth. You know, come on.
And then, and then I remember being in the main house and realizing I could see into the girls' dorms and being like, oh shit, you know what I mean? I'm 15 years old.
Yeah.
I didn't fucking know no better, and so I started doing that for a month, and then wanted to kill myself. And then got caught and almost, I didn't really almost kill myself. But
got closer to killing yourself. Like, what was almost killing yourself? Almost not killing yourself. Do you want to talk about that? You don't have to if you don't want to.
No, of course I'm down. I don't know. Like, I don't think I had really the means of doing it. I think later on,
but you committed
maybe 6 months
action?
later.
Did you like plan for it or commit to an action?
I just wanted it to happen. That's all. I was miserable. I hated myself for the shit I was doing and had done. I was miserable already, but had been putting on a good face.
You'd been doing your best to not be a miserable piece of shit.
No, I was doing my best to convince everybody else that I wasn't a miserable piece of shit.
Okay.
And then when I got caught for being a perv, all of a sudden it blew the fuck up, and now everybody knows.
We're all
now,
perverted.
I think
just so you know that we're all
of
perverted.
Course. No. Trust and fucking believe.
Yeah, we know. We're San Francisco here. We know.
But one of the things I am actually grateful for that process, because if I didn't have my mommy and my daddy to blame. Or the educational system to blame.
No, that was you.
It was all my fucking fault. For the first time in my life, it was all Pete's fucking fault. And I remember there was a kid who, I think he had Asperger's, and he was watching me, and he turns to me, because the next day, I have to be on 24-hour watch, and it was a legal thing. I actually possibly should have gotten kicked out, or, because, now there's this kid doing the shit around, whatever. So anyway... I'm around this, and there's these kids watching me because they have to follow me around, and this kid who's watching me turns to me. He's like, I just want you to know, you hurt my friends. I fucking don't want to be fucking helping you right now. And I remember remember the math room up at the top?
Yeah.
And I remember standing, and I remember exactly where he said that, and I look around and I realize there's no friendly direction. I can't blame it on nobody but fucking me. And it was the most, later on, looking back on it, it was extremely freeing. Because it was like, it's my fucking fault for the first time. It's so
freeing for the first time for you to sit down and honestly...
My decisions put me in this position.
Exactly. My decisions, my actions.
Right.
Until you can say that my decisions, my actions got me here, you will never, ever believe that my decisions, my actions can get me out of here.
Correct.
You know?
Right.
Like...
I'll still be... Victimhood is the worst thing for anybody. Absolutely.
1,000%. 1,000%.
So then eventually it got better. I tell you, there was this one guy, this one counselor who really helped me out because he told me like a couple months later. Because, we all have weird sex shame as kids.
Everybody has weird sex shame because there's so much weird sex shame in our fucking culture.
Okay, maybe it's that. For
is.
Me, it was also a little bit of religions type of stuff, a little bit of family influence.
Religion, culture.
It was, it was possible. I guess possible a molestation somewhere in there. I don't think so, but possible. And then, so all of that shit, I had now had the ability to beat myself up 100%. You know what I mean? I now have the ability to really fuck with myself, because that's one of my favorite pastimes, is beating the absolute ever-loving shit out of myself. And then I remember there was a counselor who told me in a rap is a group therapy session that we had 3 times a week, right?
3 times a week
Monday,
for
Wednesday,
3
Friday.
hours or like some ridiculous long amount of time.
And he was like, Pete, it's okay for you to have sexual thoughts. And I was like, oh. Like, it genuinely was like
Exactly. That is what I am saying. That is exactly what I am saying.
But hang on. It wasn't just the culture thing, because everybody at that point, and I'm not saying they shouldn't have, but everybody at that point was like, well, of course, Pete, we're just going to dogpile on the motherfucker. And I deserved it. I'm not saying I fucking didn't, but he was the first one to actually tell me, like, that wasn't Cultural's fault. That was Pete's fault, making these decisions to hurt these people.
But
right?
It's not your fault that you have these feelings.
Right, exactly.
I'm not saying like having the feeling of like I need to like peeping Tom do this. Like I'm not saying like I'm not saying it's great that you have those feelings,
but
like
having thoughts like
exactly.
months later, because I'm a fucking human being, number one, and number two, I'm a fucking teenage boy. Of course I'm gonna have goddamn thoughts. I'm 32 and I'm a fucking teenage boy.
Exactly.
So like, I just didn't have the ability to eat ass the way I do now. So that's we gotta talk about that. Do you eat ass?
I do eat ass.
Thank you very much. Atta girl. Because all these motherfuckers, I cannot tell you how many people I've had on the podcast who are like, what do you mean?
I will not ask someone to do unto me as I will do unto them.
You know what that's I mean? The thing. I feel like that's not a girl's fucking job, is to ask for it. That's my job to fucking. I'm at your pussy already, girl. Just fucking. I'm doing the shit. I do what I gotta fucking do.
Anyway. Cleaning plates.
Cleaning plates.
I
appreciate that. So anyway, yeah, I went through that whole process, but like, it was, I guess, really helpful. I think there was one part, like a year later, I tried to do it again, and then ran away, tried to get a cigarette, and then just came back to campus. It was right before my summit.
So you ran into town and not down the backside?
Yeah, I ran into town.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're lucky you didn't get picked up.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you know about the town?
No.
Oh my God.
Running Springs itself.
Running Springs, like...
I know it's fucking small.
Super, super small with like an unreasonably high percentage of sex offenders.
Is it really?
Like...
What a surprise.
Yeah.
When did you find this out?
I found this out, so around the time... So like, okay. There for 2 years.
Sure.
First year... smooth sailing, the cogs are running well within the machine of Sea-Doo. Second year, things are kind of slipping up. They're kind of smushing together peer groups so they can get more kids out. Ooh, sorry. More kids out and more kids in.
I see.
Okay. And during this time that more kids are being put in, new faces more often, this kid goes missing. He is able just to like walk off campus, and it's several hours before
anybody knows.
Exactly.
Because there was a lot of kids who ran away.
There were a lot of kids who ran away, but you have to know how to run away. And like how you usually were able to run away is if you left at night, when you would get like 2 or 3 hours, when like you'd wait for night staff to come around.
Right.
Walk through your dorm. As soon as they leave your dorm, you would leave. And then
What's the word? Thunderbird. What's the price? 40 cents twice.
Oh, God. Do
you remember that guy? Oh, no. You guys had girls.
We had girls,
We had a guy, an old guy.
We had wonderful, wonderful staff members who took such good care of us.
Oh, wait, was there some sex stuff?
There wasn't like sex stuff, but just like why? So like there's this time, so like I get like ingrown hairs, and like they give us like electric razors to like shave with. So like
okay. I thought you almost said share. I was like, you can't share razors with girls.
No, because we can't have real razors because there are people who would choose to harm themselves with them.
Sure.
So we have electric razors, and we would get ingrown hairs, and so in the summer, I'd have like my tweezers, and I'd be plucking my ingrown hairs, and like so I'd at night after lights out, before I can go to bed, I'd have my little reading light on, plucking my ingrown hairs.
Sure.
And night staff would walk in. Like, why do you feel like you need to report to the staff members that I'm plucking my bikini line.
Interesting.
You know, and then why do I have to have a conversation with the staff members about why I'm plucking my bikini line?
I like how that's still oddly sexual to me.
You know, like I don't know. There's just like
you know what it is, by the way, why it's oddly sexual. There's always been some weird thing in humans, I think, but especially like, okay, this is the girl section, this is the girl camp, and this is the guy camp. We're seeing something we're not supposed to. You know what I mean? Anyway, so
it's
that would happen.
It's the taboo. You know, that's what it really is, and like that's the really like. We should just make everything that's like not harming other people non-consensually
exactly. As long as it's consensual adults, do whatever the fuck you need to do.
You know, it's like I may not want to sit there and watch it. Like if I go to a kink party, if like you start doing some blood play, I'm probably leaving the room.
You can't do blood play, or I think blood play or poop are two of my no's. But I also I don't think the ones I've been to anyway, they're not like, you can't do that shit like at like you ever been to the Citadel?
I don't usually go to public. I go to like private shit because public shit is just like way too much for me. Like I'm way too skeeved out with my bloodborne pathogen stuff. I'm like way too like above it.
So you've seen at private shows or at private parties they've had blood play?
Yeah.
Are you fucking... You can't do that shit around other motherfuckers. You can't... Just take that shit away. What in the fuck? I don't know.
If it's somebody's
is there like
birthday,
a tarp? Is there like a tarp on the ground and shit?
No, it's usually like... They were asked to move into the kitchen.
Wow, so it wasn't even the hosts of the party?
No. It was somebody's sex play birthday party.
That's some weird shit, man. I feel like that's selfish at that point. If you're gonna go that extreme, that's like taking a shit in the party. Like you can't take a shit in the party. Like I'm all, if it's consenting adults, rah rah. But don't fucking do this.
The thing is, I mean? The thing about me is consent. I feel moves past just.
Where's my water bottle? I'm listening.
There's that one right there that's empty. You can have some of this one though.
No, I got it right here.
Okay. So like there's the people who are participating in that consent.
Right.
But if you are in a public place where any Joe Schmo square block, like this is going to be in my fucking head for the rest of my fucking life. Like when I die, this is going to be part of the shit that flashes before my fucking eyes.
Right.
Like they have consent too.
Exactly.
You know?
That's why, like at like a party, I wouldn't do some of the more fun, violent stuff I may do with a girl by ourselves. You know what I mean? Just like at the swingers club, you keep it. There's no BDSM at the swingers club because you're just swapping. You don't do the normal shit you and your girl do. You just play around.
You do not know what boy you are playing with.
Exactly, because you can do missionary. You can do doggy style is as risque as it gets. You just fucking keep it nice and relaxed. You're having a different pussy on your dick. Be grateful.
This is great.
Don't get
like what more could you ask for? You know, it's strange.
Don't slap the bitch now.
You don't need to you don't need to like slap strange. It's just strange. It's doing it.
It's a different. It's a whole nother king. Exactly. Now, if that girl likes you too, you can go back. Go figure out a time for you to take her to Denny's and then take her home. Then you can ramp up the whatever, or Caro's.
You know, whichever floats your boat.
So this is a weird podcast. I like this. So what were we talking about? So
we were
anyway,
talking
that
about
was
you running away, and then I was talking about how you're lucky that you didn't get picked up and raped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was a. Is it wrong to say I was a chubby boy? I don't think I would. I mean, hey, there's a wrench for every nut. I'm just saying.
There is a wrench for every nut, and I'm pretty sure, like, people on sex offender lists don't really mind if it's a nut, a bolt, or a screw. You know,
touche. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that.
So I don't know.
When did you find that out?
So
Angie's List later
on.
Like
basically, what I was talking about is like
Megan's
this kid that ended up being able to like leave.
Okay.
And then like I've never been able to track down anything about him since. So like he possibly.
Something happened.
Just gone.
Right.
Just gone. Just got picked up, gone. Because like usually after someone leaves, they come back. You hear the story.
Right. Or you hear the story like
or
of
you
them,
know where
of
they
them.
went.
Okay, they caught him, and then now Gloria and what's his face are going to take him to somewhere else.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
But like this kid was just
gone.
There in the morning by like they even like missed him because like every 4 hours you check in. Like you have to go to like House Around the Pit, which is where you come in, you sit down, everyone calls off your name, you say, yeah, I'm here, yeah, I'm here, yeah, I'm here.
Oh,
missing guy is not
I thought that was only
here.
like twice a day.
It's
it's
every
4 hours?
meal.
Oh, right. Holy
Yeah.
shit. Yeah, I totally spaced that on that.
You know? So every meal you sit down, they spiel to you, and then you line up to go get your slot.
Right. You tell them, everybody, what the plan is going to be.
You know?
Man, that food. Remember Marcos?
Marcos! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! I love the kitchen staff so much. Right. You have no idea. So
I think it'd be okay to say his name. Right?
Oh, Marcos. Yeah, I mean, we don't know his last name.
No.
Oh, I wish I could remember the women's names, though. They were so fucking amazing. They had my back so hard. Like, I got towards...
How many knife fights did you get in while you're...
All
of a sudden, Marcos comes up with a shiv,
fights.
just fucking ready to go.
Oh,
taping
God.
up his hands.
They had my back so hard. They loved me so much. They would leave out coffee. Like, I would never take it because I didn't want to get them in trouble, because if anyone saw me drinking the coffee, whose fucking coffee is this? Right. But they would leave their coffee in a place that's obviously, like, I could totally come and drink your coffee, you know? I was able to actually take a mug because, like, yeah, I'm not going to take your coffee, but they left me a clean mug that I was able to go and make warm coffee off of an iron. Like, I'd put the mug on the iron, get really hot coffee, and then like hold it, you know. When I'd be able to go on ride-alongs for like whenever a kid had to go to the doctor, like the emergency room, there would be the kid that goes, the person that drives them, and then the ride-along.
Wow,
because
yeah.
Steph,
I totally spaced on that whole aspect of fucking Sea-Doo life.
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah. So, like, if you're cool and you're on your ride-along and, like, the person's, like, in the ER, you can, like, be like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom, and you can walk by the little nurse's station that has, like, all, like, the coffee and, like, all, like, the stuff, and you can, like, pocket some of that shit. Right. And if, like, you're smooth enough on the way in, there's, like, the ashtrays, and you can, like, pick up, like, a cigarette and, like, wrap it in a piece of paper and, like, shove it in your underwear so no one smells it on the ride home.
Old cigarettes fucking smell bad as a mother.
It tastes so good when you haven't smoked one in like a year.
So you haven't smoked a cigarette in a year?
Oh no, I smoke tobacco every day now. But at this point at Sea-Doo, like,
because I quit in 2011, I want to say. Yeah, 2011. Man, I still fucking adore cigarettes, dude. I don't know why these motherfuckers who quit smoking are like, now they're offended by secondhand. Bitch,
well, no, I get it.
I fucking loved the secondhand smoke.
See, but
since
like
I was a kid, I remember like 4th of July block party, because back in the 80s and the 90s, you could smoke, you could blow it right in the fucking 3-year-old's face. It was no biggie.
Yeah, we are in the car with the windows rolled up.
Right.
You know, AC on. We are circulating this shit.
That secondhand smoke still feels like nostalgia to me. I don't know why. Anyway, continue.
It's because you were fucking a little baby and it was wonderful.
Once you know, there's another guy I really like. He says, you know, he quit smoking too, but he's like, once I get you've got 6 months to live, absolutely picking up cigarettes. Absolutely.
You know? But yeah, so
well, probably not. I don't know.
Well, I mean, we'll find out, right?
I guess.
That's going to happen.
Yeah, the night is young. I may get the news.
We'll see. But, yeah. Sea-Doo is amazing.
It was intense, man.
There's a lot of, like, really, like... I learned to really appreciate shit at Sea-Doo. Like, Sea-Doo really taught me, like, you know, like, the Buddhist monks go through, like, their whole, like, cleansing of whatever. And, like, they had rules about how you could wear your hair, like, as girls. Like, so when you get there, you can't do anything but, like, wear a ponytail. And then when you get, like, so there's, like, Discovery Quest Challenge, and then, like, there's a special one, like, Pinnacle, which not everyone got to, but if you were a real fucking kiss ass, you could get into that shit. Like, if you knew how to lick the right people's ass, you got into Pinnacle. Like,
I knew when I had Alanna on, we would talk about ass eating more than one.
Oh, we're gonna talk about it so much.
So, what was, you know, what was the shit you were just saying? Oh, there was the 4 faces, but right before then, what were you saying?
Oh God, we were talking about.
I can't remember what the hell I was gonna say. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm sure I was.
It's not gonna be the first time that happens.
Amazing. But yeah, no, it was a fucking and here's the thing
I was
too.
just talking about how I'm grateful about it. I guess. I don't know.
Right. I mean, here's the thing too. I was 15 to 17. Those are every fucking year is formative. First things
Yeah.
first. God damn it. But those are very fucking formative.
Those are
years.
definitely years
And-
where you're figuring some shit out, where
Right.
you are turning from a chrysalis into a wee,
Right.
new, wet,
Right.
limp butterfly
A
that
wee.
needs to like get some sun before it can actually fly.
Right.
You know what I
right.
mean?
So I guess for me, I'm so absolutely, I'm grateful for all my experiences in the 30 years that I have. But and there are a lot of good times at that fucking place too. There were a lot of
So
fucking
many.
times.
Oh, okay.
of
Wait.
great- Oh, please do it.
I want to talk about how wonderful the kitchen staff was again.
Okay, do it.
Okay, so for like, I got reamed so hard
Okay.
by the end of me being
Are we
there.
talking about
like,
eating ass again?
No, yeah, like if you want to talk about like, it was violent and hard. It was like, what's that big black biggest dick that you know what one I'm talking about? You know the
I don't know it
big-
from personal experience, but
But
yes,
you know
I
which
have.
one I'm talking about. It's like the big black thing that's like chode.
So I used to work at Does Your Mother Know? Which is the porn store in the Castro. It's
Yes.
the only one that doesn't have booths. Anyway, or one of the only ones. It's the only one that has. It's the more classy. If you can have a classy place in the
It was
Castro.
the classy one.
And there would always be this guy called one of the manager called this one toy the Maxwell. Because it was the biggest base fucking giant black balls, giant fucking like, how does this fit into an asshole? And the reason why he called it a Maxwell is because you know those commercials with the pig puppet where he's had his head out the window, he's go wee
Yeah.
wee. His name is Maxwell. So
Maxwell.
apparently wee. So
Yeah.
there are some
I know the
some
squeal
anal
quite
sluts
well.
who need it that big just to feel something. So that type. You got reamed roughly.
So like, yeah. So I was doing, the reason that I got so close to the kitchen staff is so usually when you're in trouble, you get put on kitchen duty. There's
Sure.
a few jobs you can get. You can get veggie prep, which is where you take people's plates and silverware and cups and you spray them down at the sink. And then you put them aside.
Wait, how's it go again? Okay, thank you.
You know, and then you put them aside, and then someone else who's doing pots and pans.
Scrubs.
Yeah, well, they do the pots and pans, but they come and get the big thing that you'd put all the pans into for the sterilizing, like the sterilizing
okay.
tray.
Right.
So there's like 2 or 3 jobs that happen back there, like sterilizer, pots and pans, and veggie prep.
Okay.
By the time, like, they were like, Alanna, you're such a fucking piece of shit, and you're not copping to what we want to cop to, which I had copped to fucking everything. Like,
Really?
I was so fucking clean by the time I got fucking out of that asshole. Like, oh,
Right.
I'd copped to fucking everything. There's nothing more for me to cop to, but I was working all 3 of these jobs. So I was doing the dishes for like 500 people 3 times a day.
Wow. Yeah.
And like, that's dishes you eat off, dishes that they cook off of, and like...
And then there's weekend duty or daytime duty. I remember like lots of raking and
Oh yeah, there's lots of
digging
things
and
that they
lots
got
of
to do.
things
Then
they
there's
have you
like
do.
quest workout, like
Oh
getting
my
you
God!
ready.
Remember that? Holy shit!
How
Remember
does that
special
make you
delivery?
feel?
Special delivery. Remember that kid? Wait, what was his name? Something. Anyway, don't share his last name. But remember that?
Yeah, I
we
love
had different.
him. I love.
Okay, you know who it is. All right.
I know. I know who you're talking about. I love. But you want to know what? There's some. I will say that there are some staff members
Right.
that I'm quite disappointed in their choices of actions
Sure.
after the fact.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wait.
we're thinking about the other person.
Okay. Right.
He's a piece of shit.
Is it right?
I mean, maybe.
I've only heard. I've talked to one person who knows that person who shared with me some things, but never
Some positive stories that made you feel really good about him as a person, because I'd really love to hear those if you have them.
Okay, I'll tell you this. Because I don't know if. I mean, obviously, if we're. I don't know. Okay. It was never. The stories that I've heard have not been the type of thing that. Okay, it might be a little sleazy, but not illegal. You understand?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots
both
of
of us
things
are a
that
little
are
fucking
legal
sleazy.
that
Hang
are
on.
fucking sleazy.
Both of us are a little
too.
sleazy. Calm down.
You know?
All right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I will say,
I can't say that all of my sexual decisions in my adulthood have been wonderful.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what you're saying.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just a judgmental cunt.
Maybe
You know?
then you're on the right podcast. But I think, I don't know. Maybe obviously we could get into detail off mic if you want to.
Yes, we can if you really want to.
Yeah,
we can.
But there were a lot of people too who maybe possibly have had a problem with substances as well, and they had their own trip to be on. And just because they were a counselor at a school doesn't mean that they were even acting like they were better than us. I mean, some were, whatever.
Well, how you got to be a counselor at this school was basically living within driving distance.
Touche.
You know, like this school wasn't like, we have like trained like people who went to school for like early childhood
or people who were going for their licensing.
It wasn't anyone like that. It wasn't anything like that. These are literally just people who lived around who could come here and fill this position. Like, one of the things that they had to do was actually go through themselves through the profits, which, like, I couldn't imagine how, like, that shit would fuck me up as a person, like, working, like...
Well, imagine that, too, where, like, you know that this is helping kids in the long run, but you're also...
a fucked up person yourself with like no psychological background or training.
Part of it, but also the weirdness I think too is when you look at the way that it gets there. Meaning, there's a difference between the ends and the means, and the fucking means are a little goddamn insane, right? So imagine you're like, okay, I know this is helping kids, but like you're hitting a pillow with pillows, son. Like what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like you're doing therapy how many times a week? Like. Oh, and even then,
we're making you do
wouldn't
anger
even
work
mind
until the capillaries in your face explode. Like,
you think maybe that's why I have?
You know, that actually might be a little something. You know.
I mean, I do sing
too bad
regularly.
You can't
so
sue now.
No.
You know, too bad you can't get.
I think I just have a big, thick neck.
Such
a
big, thick neck.
Veiny.
So veiny.
Bulbous neck. Anyway, you know what? Since we're talking about bulbous things,
let's do it.
You have a lot of opinions about something.
I do.
Regarding bulbous things. Let's take a quick pee-pee break. You down with that?
You do your pee-pees.
Because I have to urine.
Let's do your pee-pees and then we can talk about pee-pees.
Wait, you want to see my pee-pees? Okay.
No, I don't have to see it.
You're just the one who said it.
No, I
you
said,
heard her, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's do pee-pees.
I'm going to go piss. Do you need the restroom?
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. We'll be right back. All right. I'll be right. All right. Let's talk about penises.
All right, hold on. Let me get my shit together.
Penis.
How am I sounding?
Yeah, a little bit closer. Yeah, that's good.
All right, let's
and then
do it.
if you can angle. Just imagine it's like Maxwell. I'm big
trying.
black.
I'm trying.
No, you're
to
doing
think
perfect.
of it
No,
as
it's
Maxwell.
fine.
It's just limp. It's too limp. Like, watch. Like it won't stand up on its own. Like watch.
This is the first time you've ever. I understand. I apologize. It's the first. It normally doesn't. It normally doesn't happen to me.
Okay?
It normally doesn't.
Really not.
It happens to all microphones.
Look, I fixed it.
No, fucking angled it. God damn it,
more like
woman.
this. Like okay.
Yes. All right. Now put it back towards. Don't make me adjust your dick for you.
I mean, if you want to try, go ahead. It's just so
I'm
limp.
I'm gonna do an amazing job.
Do
Watch
it.
This. Watch this.
Okay.
See and. Perfect.
Okay, let's
God,
do it.
I'm a winner.
You know how to adjust the dick.
It's not just
apparently.
how do I do it. How do I do it every day so consistently? That's my question.
You want to know what? I think your thing is consistency, though. Like you have been consistently making some choices in your life that have benefited you.
Oh my God! Don't get Stuart Smalley now, girl. What's wrong with you? We got to talk about dicks. All right, so I have seen you posting on Facebook for a number of years
yes,
about your opinions about certain things, and let's talk about it. So the podcast knows all about my dick. So if you don't want to hear more about my dick, now is the time to shut down. All right. Yeah. So I have my shits all intact. I did not have any bris.
You're very blessed. You're very blessed.
I come from a Catholic, background because, Latinos, whatever. But apparently this is not the case in a lot of America.
In America, no. The majority of our infants are our male infants are circumcised. I was actually so happy. So, we've been talking about doing this for, a couple weeks.
Okay.
Well, months, actually.
You
now.
and I
talk about this
podcast.
Yeah. And originally, around one of the times that you're like, ooh, let's do this, I was super excited to talk about how California just gave intersex babies genital protection. They are now protected from any kind of genital cutting or alteration to either
because of FGM?
No, because it's wrong. First thing,
right?
But basically, California is kind of putting it on the shelf next to FGM. In California, female genital mutilation is not accepted, is not tolerated.
Right.
And so I was super excited to be able to talk about, 2 of the 3 babies that are born within our state now have protection to be able to live their whole life with their whole body and experience sex the way that our bodies are meant to experience it.
Okay.
So I was super, super, super happy about that. I'm like, yay, raha, shish, bamboo, let's talk about this shit.
Right.
And then fucking that goddamn judge in fucking wherever it is threw out the case of FGM. Basically, the big case that's been happening in our country about FGM. I don't know if you haven't heard about it. Okay, God.
I know all about FGM. I don't know about there's a case. Go ahead.
So recently, I think it's in Michigan. Don't quote me. I feel like an idiot that I don't know.
You're the one who brought notes,
I
girl.
know, exactly, and it's not on the notes.
We can Google if you want.
Notes, if you want to do it.
I will Google dick case.
do FGM case, and it'll come up.
Right.
So basically,
FGM case.
Basically,
federal judge dismisses charges in female genital mutilation case in Detroit.
Yeah. So basically,
this is just a few days ago.
Yeah. So there is a federal law saying you cannot cut the hoo-haws or anything around the hoo-ha of little baby girls because it's not ethical to cut little baby girls. And now this judge is saying that law is unconstitutional. And they're saying that because of religious freedoms, because this case is a case somewhere in the Midwest. There were 2 doctors that I think were on trial, a male and a female doctor, who were performing undercover
female genital mutilation.
Yeah.
For Muslims mostly.
Mostly. I mean, that's really what... I mean, they circumcise their boys too. But
they do?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Yeah. But so if we want to talk about female genital mutilation, there are technically 4. There's the first kind, which is just taking off the hood of the clitoris or the exposed part of the clitoris.
Right.
And then there's the second kind where they take off the exposed part of the clitoris, the hood of the clitoris, and then the inner labia. And then the third kind is fuck all this shit, and they take off the hood, they take off the clit, they take off the outside labia, the inside labia, and then from the shreds on both sides where they took off the labia, they just sew that back together. So basically you have a hole to pee out of until you get married, and then they cut you open enough for your husband to fuck you.
Are you wait a second. Yeah. I didn't know about that. Yeah. Goddamn, you mean they keep it sewn up until you're ready to have sex?
Yeah. So they know that you're a fucking virgin. The first kind.
I mean, obviously it's open, but it's too small to it's open enough to let blood come out.
Yeah, to menstruate and pee out of. Yeah. So that's the Sudanese, in Sudan, that's where it's most popular to do that to them. And
I have to say it because you already know, like, I have a couple of conservative. Just because you're brown does not mean that you get away with cutting off a fucking.
See, I don't think it has anything to do.
No, I'm not saying that it has anything to do with their race, but I'm saying that there are a lot of liberals in America who are just like, everything white people do is the devil, and everything, like, don't cut pussies. Like, that's simple. That's don't be a cunt 101. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, how do you not? God damn it, that pisses me off. All right, continue.
It's pretty fucking hardcore, and it's one of the reasons that a lot of women actually die in childbirth.
Absolutely.
You know? So there's like those like four, but then the fourth, they had to come in. So like if you like look at like the definitions, like 4 is kind of an afterthought, because 4 is like.
You mean the really bad one?
Well, no, 3 is the really bad one.
Okay.
If you're talking about the 3 like classified forms, the 4th is all other harmful procedures, including like pricking, burning, cutting the clit and the hood. So, like, people are so against FGM and everything. Like, they think that, like, FGM, like, it doesn't matter if it's the 4th, which is, like, a prick. Like, if someone goes and, like, makes her foreskin bleed, that's enough to appease God. You know? Like, they just literally a
foreskin,
prick.
you mean clit. You mean hood.
Yeah, hood of the female prepuce.
Right.
That's enough to appease God. But then there are the people who are like, no, she just needs to be like totally done. And if you want to like.
So you're saying that, okay, so even in some Muslim cultures, there are some.
I know. I'm just rearranging my body.
All right. I thought you were like it like hurts now. Like when someone talks about getting them kicked in the balls, like I have to adjust my ball.
Oh no, that's just how I move my body. I look painfully anguished.
Okay. So you're saying that there are some Muslim cultures who would say, okay, well, we got to do this because God said so. So let's just cut her a little bit, and that's enough. Or let's just poke her, and that's enough. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Rather than go through the whole rigmarole.
Exactly. But now if we want to like turn it into like the male genital mutilation, which is like what I call circumcision because I can't think of anything else to call it. Mm-hmm. It would be kind of in the middle of in my opinion, the 3rd and the 2nd. A lot of people want to classify it within like the 2nd, but it's just ridiculously harmful, and I do not know why people. Well, I do know why. It's fucking money. But
is it money?
It's 1000% money.
What do you mean it's money? Okay, first things first.
Okay.
We know that it was started because a different god, or the same god but with different lineage. Anyway, some sort of god somewhere.
Somebody in the Middle East at some point in time said that it would be a really good idea. Because, okay, so if we think about Muslims and we think about Jews, right? If we think about culturally where they came from, it's just back and forth. You're the slave. No, you're the slave. No, you're the slave.
Right.
So somewhere in there, cutting off the foreskin became a thing.
Right.
And so for a really long time, the procedure for the circumcision wasn't the same as it is now. And like Eric Klopper talks about this a lot in his I don't even like know what to call it because it's like
a podcast, or
it's not a podcast, it's I don't want to call it a performance, but it is a talk that he did at Harvard.
Where can you find it? On YouTube?
You can find it on YouTube. It's
okay.
Sex and Circumcision, an American Love Story by Eric Klopper. And if you just Google him, you'll find out all kinds of stuff and the whole shit trail that this has made.
Right. So initially it was started that way.
So initially these two cultures, for whatever reasons, thought that it would be a good idea. Like some, like the Jews say it's because Abraham got told by God that you shouldn't have your foreskin, and it's how I will recognize you, and yada yada yada, blah blah blah.
Right.
But the original thing was just, oh God.
It's okay.
You have the penis, and then you have the quote-unquote extra skin, and then where the penis ends, they'll pinch the skin at the top, and they'll just take off the little top.
Not just that. Apparently, in a bris, the actual Orthodox way is for the fucking rabbi to bite the goddamn.
Like this comes later. That was originally. So we're talking about like Roman times.
Okay.
Roman times is how it was practiced. But
I see.
So
Roman times, it was just lift up, cut. You're good. Okay.
You know, it wasn't like ripping it down past the head the way it's done now. Because when a boy is born, his foreskin is attached to the head of his penis, like your nails are attached to your finger. So in order to cut it off, they have to.
So not just at the base of it like it is now.
No.
Okay.
No, it's not. It's not a functional kaleidoscoping skin. It's there to collect. Like protect the mucous membrane, which the head is.
Okay,
I
see. All right.
So like it's fused to the head to keep urine and feces out of it.
Right.
So
even with babies, like if I had a baby boy, like I probably wouldn't need to clean.
No,
like I wouldn't need to pull
that's actually
back the
called
head.
forced retraction, and it's something that doctors actually advocate for because they're just not. In our country, doctors are not educated.
Okay.
On the male prepuce, at all, and basically, it's easier to clean a little baby boy than it is to clean a little baby girl. Like, you just wipe it like a finger from base to tip. Mm-hmm. You just wipe it like you would a fingertip. If it's a super big blowout diaper, sit him in a little water, swoosh his little dick around. Right. You're gonna be fucking fine.
Right.
You know.
Where I've heard from Louis C.K., he's had to clean shit out of a vagina.
It's so hard.
So you actually have a child?
Yeah, I have a daughter. I have a 4-year-old now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you've actually had to do that.
Yeah, it's
God bless
ridiculous.
You. Holy shit.
Like, it's a lot.
Okay.
It's a lot, you know?
Now, let's also talk about, if we're talking about FGM, not the male genital mutilation, it's not just that these are the 4 different classifications. There's also different ways to do it. And there are a lot of tribes, if you will, or cultures where there's not readily medical things. No. So they use fucking rocks in some ways.
Rocks, or fucking blunt cans, tools, fucking glass. Like, there's 1,000 different things. But just because...
And apparently sometimes they do it at like upwards of the age of 7 or 8 too. It's not just when you're a little baby girl. Sometimes they'll do it when you're in 8 or 9.
Yeah, it's a coming of age. Like there's a lot of the same tribes do the same thing to their little boys too, and we hear nothing about it. They're literally like rites of passage where these little boys, like you said, talking about like 8, 9, 10, 13, you know, however old, they can't flinch while their fucking dick is being cut off, or else they're not a fucking man.
Wow.
You know, they get ostracized from their fucking community if they show any whatever weakness about having like their dick fucking chopped off. Right. And don't even get me started about like the atrocity. Like
No. We're on a podcast right now. I'm going to get you started. So let's get started. What are you talking
about? The whole like circumcision as a prevention of AIDS in Africa, and like just how that's just like an atrocity.
My God, wait a second.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So first things first, I actually have one. So I'm talking from personal experience. It's not that fucking hard to clean your dick. Just fucking clean your dick. And this is as an adult?
No, honestly, it's about as hard as cleaning your armpit. What's harder? You have to lift up your armpit. Armpit's harder. Armpit's harder.
Like, I just pull back and clean. Now, I've heard from past women, there are some men who have not been trained how to do that and clean it the right way. But a dirty dick is a dirty dick, right? First things first.
So, okay, the one thing that I have to, like, say about that, so if in America, you need to understand that, like, a circumcised man or uncircumcised man in America is, like, a fucking unicorn. Yeah. You know, like, there's not going to be a doctor that knows how to treat it. You should hopefully... Oh, really? Hopefully...
I thought it was only like 50% of American men are...
No.
Really?
Up until, like, recently, like, 80% of every single boy born in this country was, like, circumcised. In California, we're blessed to be, you know, a little more forward-thinking.
Okay.
And, like, around 50% of our boys in California now are being saved or being held down.
Right.
I don't remember what I was talking about.
But in as far as this is a prevention of AIDS.
Oh, okay. So it got in Africa. So there was like this study done that has been like totally like debunked, and obviously like I don't even know. The study was like saying basically like you're way more likely to like contract AIDS and like HIV and STDs if you have your foreskin, because it's just a little extra place for the dirty to get caught.
Which is insane, because I thought it's bloodborne.
Okay.
Bloodborne doesn't mean like a dirty dick is not does not make it.
But
It might
also,
be. It
like,
might
your
be.
mucosa, there's an immune system in your fucking dick if your dick is not fucking keratized, and like the mucosa, the mucous membranes, like in your eyeballs, in your mouth, in your nose, you know, it's your first line of defense against stuff. So like if we go back and we're talking about and we're thinking like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe circumcision does help with AIDS, let's think about that. So America, only country in the world, you know, progressive, like world power country that still thinks it's cool to chop the little fucking dicks off the fucking babies.
Right.
By the numbers of the amount of people that we circumcise, we should have the cleanest fucking dicks.
Right.
We should be the ones being all like, age schmades, whatever, our circumcised dicks, blah.
Right,
blah,
but
blah.
that's not a fucking...
No, it's not a fucking thing.
No.
We are
what it
way
is
down.
they must have done causation. They must have confused causation with what's the fucking other word?
No, what it is like there were fucking people who want to keep fucking circumcising people. They want a reason to circumcise people.
So you think it actually is malfeasance from the top up, from the top down?
They are stealing people's foreskins to fucking sell.
Okay, I don't know. All right, what do you mean sell? What do they do with dick in America? What do they do with the foreskins? Yeah.
Google Cate Blanchett right now.
I love Cate Blanchett.
You know why she looks so good?
Why?
Because she has baby dick in her face.
No, are you saying that right now?
No,
dude, she's a fucking delicious ass bitch. I love that fucking girl.
So supposedly the mask that she used was cloned baby foreskin, but anyway, so. If you right now were like, oh my god, I need like an infant fibroblast, you could go online and buy a baby foreskin for like $3,400.
Oh, I see.
You know? So basically, you pay a doctor to chop off your son's foreskin. If the harvested quote-unquote material is feasible for medical purposes, they will sell that foreskin. The hospital will sell that foreskin to a medical company, which they will either like clone to make more money off of, which they can take their investment of like, let's say they get the same price that like Joe Schmo would get online, which is $3,400. They can take the investment of like $3,400 and turn that into like $250,000 with the amount of like things that they can produce with this infant fibroblast. And then if it's not of medical quality, then they can send it to cosmetic companies. Like the only reason, like up until the 50s, like female circumcision was widely practiced in this country. It was a form.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like there are people still alive today whose doctor told their mom, oh, your little 3-year-old girl's masturbating. Let's put some fucking acid on her clitoris and see what happens. She probably won't masturbate after that, you know? Good old Puritan American fucking, you know? Right. And so
I feel like personally, I don't know about the I mean, it seems like the penis facial thing, like maybe that might be something, but I feel like it's a malfeasance based on ignorance, and also from like people just saying like, oh, it's cleaner, or like, oh, I've already had one, so I guess we'll make my son the same as me. You know,
Muslim
like,
women say
easier.
Exactly the same thing.
That's what Muslims say?
Every single thing that I have heard
regarding why
exactly
Middle East still does that.
We've heard the same thing. Like, America is a circumcising culture.
Right.
Do not be confused upon our stance against cutting like little girls. Like, we cut little boys every fucking day.
That is it's a weird fucking thing that we do, and it's a blind eye type of thing where like why are we? Because even when you were saying it just now, and I have a foreskin, so I should be more passionate about it. But like, even you talking about it now made me fucking livid against the motherfuckers hurting girls because I want to fucking murder their asses. Right? That's number one. But it happens to men fucking all the time.
Exactly. Like walking down the street, you don't look at these people as victims of genital mutilation.
Right.
Like 80% of your friends.
They didn't decide to do it.
They did not.
They did not make that decide. They did not elect to have that surgery, which you can elect to later on in your life.
1000%. If you don't want your fucking foreskin, hopefully it's not because you're fucking forcefully retracted and you have adhesions and fucking problems that come with force retraction.
Right.
Hopefully it's not because you fucking want to fuck some shallow bitch who thinks fucking foreskin's nasty. Like,
really? Do you feel like that happens?
Yes.
Well, in America, for me,
in America,
I only have like girls like looking at it like it's so cool. Like they're like, wow, like, you know, it's almost like because you know what I mean, because it doesn't happen very often. So I guess that's my unicorn status, if you will.
You know, exactly.
But yeah, that's okay. All right. So okay, let's see. At this point, though, even though that makes a lot of logical sense, there's not a lot of people who are behind this. And
there
and
are a huge amount of people who are
there's a growing
this.
number for sure.
Huge amount.
But they're still in the public eye, like at large, it almost feels like not a flat earth type of thing, but like, oh, it's such a small, thing. Why do these people like, okay, let's start with this.
That definitely is like, okay, so if I can give you an example, there is a group of people called the Bloodstained Men.
I've seen those, yeah.
Okay, led by Brother K, wonderful man in my opinion. They go around everywhere, like they do a lot of like they just finished up like their southeast, like Florida, like mid, like all through there doing their thing. A lot of the things that you see posted by people who take pictures, are like, why don't these people have a job? Aren't there so many like more important things to be like concerned about?
Right.
But it's like, I feel like people having their whole body and like getting to experience their body the way it is a pretty big deal. And I feel like chopping off a healthy, functional part of someone else's body is a human's right violation. Like, I just don't understand how, like, even if like I have the same stance against piercing ears.
Okay.
Like, I don't think that you should pierce your daughter's ears until she can consent to it.
Touche.
And possibly maybe even care for them herself.
Right.
Now
I don't know if that age, if do you feel like that age would be 18 or maybe like, 10 or 11, somewhere around there?
I think that like age is
a
when
little
your
Mexican
kid
baby
can...
with a pierced ear.
Yeah,
that
like
doesn't make sense, right?
It doesn't make sense because they move. It's
right.
like your little baby ear isn't going to be your big adult ear, and that's why you get some chicks with like really funky looking earrings on.
Sure.
One's going out this way, one's all going out that way.
Right.
It's because they migrate.
Right.
And then like God
that's
forbid
a
they get
decision.
in. Right. It is a female's decision.
That's her decision to make. But if it's not her decision to make, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I when did you start to get passionate about this? So,
like in my early 20s is when I met my first unicorn.
Ooh.
Oh.
We thank you for your service.
Oh.
On behalf of...
you're so welcome.
All right, so what was your experience? Wait a second. Hang on a second. Now we're just blowing past this. It got till your 20s before you saw an uncircumcised dick?
Before I actually had sex. Like, I'd seen pictures of it.
Okay.
Like, I knew
porn
what was up.
But...
Well, not even in porn. I had never seen an uncircumcised dick in porn. Yeah,
okay.
Ever. Like, so I'd been basically just, like, pictures, aardvark, it's like, oh, why doesn't it have a scar on it? It's so scary.
Right.
So, like, I'd seen it that way, but then, like, I get into, like, this relationship with, like, this guy, and I was like, well... foreskin's actually kind of cool. Like...
What did you like about it?
Well, considering that, like... Okay.
We can get dirty. We don't have to just stay, solemn A&E documentary. We.
Well, the thing is, it's hard for me to talk about this because one, like, obviously, like, I have, like, my own opinions and, like, I want to joke and I want to be fucking funny about it.
Sure.
But we're talking about victims of genital mutilation.
For sure.
So it's really like I want to walk a tender line of being like,
because we can do both. Yeah, we can do both. I've been a fat kid. I'm a fucking, not that it's comparable.
But you're not a fat kid now, so can you say something?
Yeah, I can make fat jokes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Till the day I die. All right, continue.
All right. So
your first unicorn.
So my first unicorn. And like if we want to talk about like the functions of something, like if we're talking
whether you believe in God or evolution, bottom line is it was somewhere it was this is the way it's supposed to be.
This is the way you were fucking born. Right. It doesn't cause you a fucking problem. It's not an abnormality. Right. This is what you were given.
Right.
There's a bunch of different functions to it. So like originally, like when it's a little baby dick, it's there to keep the dick clean and keep the mucosa good and like keep what's going on.
Sure.
And so as the kid gets bigger and they start getting a little more action down there, slowly it starts to come apart and become more of like, you can get like a full erection with the gliding motion.
Right.
And so there's actually this movie where you can get a really good sense of the difference between... Oh, God, and I wish I could remember the movie. Of course, it left me right now.
Ass Blasters 4.
Yes, it's Ass Blasters 4. Yeah. But,
well, no, because it is a...
It's a like, functional I've never part of your body, right?
When I was a little kid, do you know how... Just as not a little kid. Do you know how fucking useful it was for me to be 9, 10 years old and not have to get... Like, I just learning how to masturbate and not have to get lotion. Like, that was so fucking useful.
No.
I didn't have to worry about that shit.
Or having just a fucking penis sleeve on your dick already.
Right, exactly.
You know, like it's my masturbation sleeve.
Exactly.
It's literally, like, that's, like, what it is. And, like, one, it just makes, like, it makes life...
And it's easier for the girls, too. Spit only lasts so long.
Easy. Oh, my God. Not to say,
how many times you got to spit on your hand and be like, all right, damn it. I'm dehydrated
like,
right now.
How long do you have to fucking plow into me for you to fucking come?
Nice.
You know, it's all like lube.
Right.
Like it's not supposed to be the lady's job to get all the wetness there. It's not our job. It is a 2-person thing.
Yeah, that's fucking legit.
With your dick, you have your own lubrication.
Right.
With a dry
But it doesn't happen with circumcised dicks?
No, because it's scarred because they have to rip off the head.
So it doesn't even if pre-cum comes out as an example, it doesn't catch and then keep getting pushed back into the area where the
and even like it's a change of skin. It's a literal change of skin. It's the characterization that happens from not only the first initial trauma of having it being skinned, of like literally having a tool shoved down into it, go around it, pull it down, cut it or clamp it off, then it's just this little bleeding stump of... It would be like ripping off my nail and what's left underneath the nail. That's the head of the penis when it's done.
Right.
So then the body has to heal that, scab it up, and leave it with a huge scar underneath it. And like when you're taking off that skin, you're taking off like the male G-spot. You're taking off like the Meissner's corpuscles that like are in your lips and in your fingertips that give you that fine dexterous touch. You know, it's like imagine walking around with like a layer of glue on your hands. Imagine how like everything would feel different. Yeah, you can still pick shit up. Yeah, I can still feel that. That definitely hurts if you fucking poke me.
Right.
But like, I don't know what the fuck silk feels like. I don't know what satin feels like.
It's such an interesting... Okay. Because there's no way for us to compare genuinely unless you have one and then as an adult, after fucking for a number of years, have a circumcision. There's no way for you to really tell what the exact difference is. But why would I want to be... Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Like, I feel like nature, God, whatever the fuck you want to call it, knew what the fuck it was doing. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, okay, yes, we have an appendix. You know what I mean? You can take that shit out. You know what I mean?
But
like,
I need it. I still need it.
Do you really?
Yeah.
What does that appendix do?
Oh gosh, like it regulates a bunch of like
Should I
different
Google
stuff.
it?
Yeah, do
Okay.
it. Like it's just because you can live without it doesn't mean you fucking don't need it. You can live without your fucking
Right.
your eyelids. You can live without the fucking nose on your face, you know?
What does the appendix do?
But I know people
WebMD. The function of the appendix is unknown. One theory is that the appendix acts as a storehouse for good bacteria, rebooting the digestive system after diarrheal illnesses.
Ooh.
so
Other experts
basically
believe the
like
appendix is
your
just a
immune
useless remnant
system.
from our evolutionary past.
Okay.
And also, if you know anything about like your gut health and anything about that, I don't know
Right.
if you've ever seen like the second mind or whatever the fuck it's
No
called, the
idea.
second brain.
No.
But it has your gut and it's a bifida and like all the thing that's like in it
A
has
bifida.
like stomach bifida, like your. It's the.
You live a charmed life.
I do live a charmed life. No, but like I've actually had to learn
gotta
a
get on
lot
that
about
bifida,
this
bitch.
because of like my Lyme disease and like stuff like
Oh,
that.
right.
So
right.
like
So there's a lot to be said. No, that's true.
It's a
what you
whole
put into your
system
body,
thing. It's a
there's a
whole
reason why
system
you are
thing.
what you eat. You put something into your body, it changes lots of different things. There's a lot of people who have gotten on, who have changed up their diet and their whole chemical, like their brain chemistry, like they're less sluggish, they're less angry, they're less anxious. There's amazing weird shit happens when you change up your diet.
oh yeah, it's your gut is super important.
Right.
It's super important.
Okay, so anyway, so just because it's something you can live without doesn't mean that it let's just get rid of it. Because and the other thing, it's definitely not aesthetic because I have never run into any fucking females.
All right, let me tell you
in
about
my
this
32
shit.
years, I've never run into females who have been turned off. In fact, it's always been either a no reaction or it's dark, or or a good reaction. That's just my personal experience.
So like what I like about uncircumcised men, intact men,
Sure.
is that when they get a rager, okay, so like I have like a little bit of sexual trauma, right?
Okay,
so like
sure.
raging hard on dicks at sometimes make me a little bit uncomfortable.
Interesting. Okay.
So
all right.
a circumcised, limp, flaccid little thing looks kind of like what an enraged, intact dick would look like, right?
Right.
So
right.
like I kind of like the like, oh look, he has his little coat on. He totally means me no harm right now. You know? Like
in my experience, the exact opposite is true. But yes, I hear it. No, not literally. But okay, that's fucking crazy.
You know,
okay,
it
all
just,
right.
like-
No, I'm not hating. Certainly not hating. So that's an interesting. I like that. I like the psyche behind
well,
girls.
like, you know, it kind of gives me like, you know, like I don't know.
It just feels like you can. It's more manageable to you than.
Well, not that it's like more manageable, but just as like there's more than like one state of the penis.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not all just like.
Right. It's not like when my dick is hard. There's still that fucking turtleneck hanging there. You know what I mean?
No.
Like it pulls. Yeah.
Usually,
it pulls
most
back.
of the time, like okay, so the foreskin of like an adult male, like it's probably like 15 like square inches. Like if you like you cut it off and like you splay it out and stuff.
Okay.
And it can account for like sometimes like 60% of the skin on the penis.
Interesting. Okay.
You know, so like I just don't know why people want to cut it off. You know,
Right.
it just makes me so sad.
Yeah, it is. It's a weird thing, and it's so if it's not aesthetic, and we don't really, and we know that okay, there are like I said, or there like I think you already mentioned, but there are times where weird things happen. Just like everybody has weird things. Sometimes people are born with fucking brain diseases or whatever. Like weird things can happen from a foreskin, and you may need to get. I heard some story where some kid had it like it didn't the tip of the hole didn't grow. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? What does this mean?
Okay.
Where,
you
like,
have a
the-
baby. Listen, you have a baby.
Sure.
Yay! Baby boy.
Right.
When are you going to get him circumcised? Oh, when he's a week old. Okay. Sounds good. Day 3. So we've been doing what you said. We've been pulling back his foreskin, aka ripping it away from the head of the penis. And cleaning underneath it. And now he's having a harder time peeing. So, like, if the kid is having a hard time peeing, he's going to have a hard time peeing the first day he's fucking born. You know what I mean? If you're not like ripping and damaging your kid to the point where like his thing closes up, because that's actually a form, I cannot remember what it's called, but part of the damage, like if you want to look up like circumcision damage.
My phone is going to have all kinds of insane shit on it. Circumcision damage. Okay.
They're like, yeah, we don't even know what the fuck you're trying to tug.
What do you mean brain damage from circumcision? Effects of circumcision.
The brain damage
sexual
thing.
impact. Doctors opposing circumcision. Complications. Okay, so...
it's basically when the pee hole gets so scarred from the forced retraction that it just gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So it's actually, a lot of the times, you'll see it.
Oh, it heals poorly. The actual urethra.
They damage the urethra by retracting the foreskin.
Okay, I was talking about there can be either medical mistakes from or weird. I was talking about the story of this kid who was uncircumcised, and then when he was like 14 or something, his
were they forcefully retracting him for 14 years?
No, I don't think so. I'm saying he was uncircumcised, and his like the tip of the foreskin hole like didn't pull back the right way, and so he had to have surgery and take it off.
That's called phimosis, and if you actually want to look up Manuel Ferreira, who's a fucking porn actor, he has he has the same thing. It's not a fucking big deal anywhere but fucking America.
I see.
Because everywhere else, they're like, no, we don't chop the fucking foreskins off our kids. We know how to fucking deal with them.
Right.
And like phimosis, like circumcision is like the last thing they fucking do in other countries, where it's like, oh, we're not going to prescribe you any creams. We're not going to prescribe you any stretching techniques. We're just going to like, and really, you can have a totally functional dick with phimosis. Like it's not like, unless it's like constricting you to the point that you could possibly like lose blood flow. Right. I don't see a reason to fucking cut it off.
Right.
You know?
And plus there is, in a regular foreskin, it's not just the circle, like the fucking calamari. There's also the little line. There's also the little what is it
Pendulum.
called? Thank you. Good Lord, you know your shit.
I'm pretty sure. Don't quote
the thing.
me.
It's the skin. The skin
that's
flap
the
that
male
holds.
G-spot.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that explains.
Yeah.
I've also heard.
For real, men can have multiple orgasms because their penises are intact. It's a thing, you know? It's like, it's not just because a girl has it doesn't mean a boy doesn't have it. Like, what is the sense in that? Right. You know?
But it's got to be a weird, touchy subject for people who are circumcised to be listening to this now, because they're like,
what's wrong with my dick? You're saying my dick's fucking broken.
Right.
Like,
and I'll never be able to get that feeling that you say I can get back.
But that's actually not true.
What does that mean?
You can't get your Meissner's corpuscles back. Once those are amputated from your body, they're amputated from your body. So
corpuscles meaning the thing that create more mucus, more pre-cum? Is that what that is?
The Meissner's corpuscles are the things that you have in your lips and your fingers, and it's basically the tactile nerves.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So once those are gone and amputated from your body, you can't get them back. But there's actually restoration that people do. And there's actual like
stretching?
Yeah.
Okay.
They like, a lot of people like use tape to like kind of like redo it up, but you can actually gain back a lot of the 16 functions. Like the classified, there's more than 16, but there's like a top 16 functions of the
foreskin.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So.
All right. So when your process was, you met your unicorn. And
I rode my first unicorn, and I fell in love, and I never wanted to get off the rainbow again.
Now, wait a second. First things first.
Yeah.
You're saying that actually, besides the utility, the safer look, whatever it was, the fact that you felt...
The carrying case. Like, it was just like... It was
exactly.
It was cool. It was nice to see, like,
inside
a whole body.
you, if you don't mind me asking, inside you it felt better?
Yes.
Interesting.
There is a 1,000% difference between having sex with
Wow.
A cut man and a man with his whole penis.
Wow.
Like, I don't want to say I don't come for cut dick, because I do. I
Sure.
love it. I don't want to say that, like, your body is wrong, because I don't want to say that. I would never, ever walk up to, like, an FGM survivor and be all like, you know? Like, no matter their stance. Like, I mean, maybe if they're, like, talking shit, oh, my daughter's going to be the same way, I might have something to say, you know?
Right.
But, like, I have, like, a lot of fucking respect for it. But it's just like, oh.
I mean, how the fuck dare you? Like, how do you cut a kid?
And the best part about
so
it,
fucking
if
disturbing,
if
dude.
you want to talk about, like, what I find, like, the most disturbing, and it might be, like, a lot for a lot of people to hear,
Sure.
but, like, again, like, we'll talk about harder truths, you know?
Yeah,
It's
harder
like
truths, right.
Every single circumcised man, first sexual stimuli, because infants, like, there have been, like, ungodly studies about the sexuality of, like, infants, like, super, super sick, dark, like, I cannot believe
Creepy
there was
shit.
funding for this
Right,
shit,
right,
you know? So infants...
Well, some of it was Nazis too, I think.
Oh yeah.
Right? Anyway,
oh yeah, I'm so
continue.
sure. But like the idea, oh god, I cannot remember. You said Nazis and I got all scared.
What? What do you mean you got all scared?
Cuz
How
like
high are you right now?
No, it's cuz you're talking about us, so like I don't want to be like labeled as anti-Semitic either, because like
No,
it
I'm
has
not- Nobody, whatever.
Yes.
This is a long form conversation.
Exactly.
These motherfuckers have heard me say foul shit. They understand.
foul shit.
It's it's all good.
So where I was going is like every single circumcised man, first sexual stimuli was their circumcision. They're not chopping into limp baby dick. Could you imagine chopping off the foreskin off of a limp dick? Doesn't fucking work.
They have to get blood into it.
They have to get that shit hard so they can guess where to stop cutting. So literally every single man that you've seen walking around was getting his first awesome fucking hand job ended with the most sensitive part, more sensitive than the head of the penis.
Right.
Being amputated.
Now that also means so you're okay. Now is that where the rabbi bites the dick thing? Is that where that comes in?
When we were talking earlier about the first part, when we were talking about Romans, when they were just talking about snip the tip,
Right.
It changed because Jewish men in bathhouses were kind of pulling down their stuff to like look more socially acceptable, look like they have like an intact penis instead of a circumcised penis in the bathhouses. Mm-hmm. So the religious heads at the time were like, fuck this shit, let's take the whole shit.
Right.
And like that's around the time when, so before they were sucking on it, they were taking their sharpened pinky nails and shoving it underneath and like going around and doing that shit and then biting off the foreskin and sucking on it. But if you want to like, okay, I know it's a horrible, awful
now
thing
were
to
they
suck-
doing it to babies? Or are they doing it? Are they
No,
doing
they're
it to
doing it to
boys at
babies.
like 4 or 5?
No. In Judaism, you get circumcised on your 7th day.
Okay.
So you're 7 days old when you're getting circumcised.
Right. Okay.
And it's it's sad. It's sad and horrible to like think about. So like, you know, I rode like my first unicorn and it was fucking amazing. And then like it didn't really go any further than like,
Isn't that interesting?
I wonder why we do that. Like, I think foreskin's kind of cool. There must be a reason why we do it. But it didn't go anything more than that, you know, just drop that bone, whatever. Fast forward to, like, my 30s. Mm-hmm. Oh, shit. Alanna's knocked up. What we gonna do? I guess we're just gonna start Googling a bunch of fucking shit, you know?
Because you weren't working? What do you mean?
Well, no, actually I wasn't working because I was actually really sick with hyperemesis gravidorum. For
What
like,
in the hell is that?
It's like morning sickness that doesn't go away. And
Oh,
I had
joy.
it was so amazing.
Hooray.
I'm so glad I or my baby didn't die.
Oh my God, really? That can happen? Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So I was Googling stuff and I'm like, circumcision, if it's a boy. This is before I even know. This is like before we're like 17 weeks in. And
Now, was this if you don't mind me asking, this is a guy you're currently
Yes.
Okay.
This is my baby daddy, but not the unicorn. The unicorn has fled for the hills.
Okay,
and then I
gotcha.
got to meet like one other unicorn. I think I've had like 3 unicorns.
Oh, you poor thing.
I know, but actually I consider myself really, really blessed. You know?
Because at least you got 3?
Yeah, you know,
Okay.
I can think of 2 definitely off my head. One kind of doesn't count because he's foreign. So I mean, that's just how dicks come over there.
And because foreign people are less people than us. That's
Not because that they're less people.
race jokes. All right,
he's
continue.
white foreign. Okay, so just leave it.
All right,
you
fine.
know,
He's still in the master race then.
exactly.
How are your Oreos, by the way?
And my Oreos are super, super delicious. It's been a lot for me, not just like talking through.
You can do it. I'll talk about. I'll make up fucking facts about circumcision.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said you had your third, or roughly 2 or 3 or whatever,
Yeah, and
then you're with the guy, and you start Googling.
And so I was like, all right, first thing to do, I guess, would be watch a YouTube of it. Because that's what you do. If you want to know how something's done, you watch a YouTube of it.
Wait, did you also
right?
watch videos of birth? Because that shit is fucking real. Birth looks fucking crazy.
You want to know what? If you do it right, it's not.
Really?
Yeah, I had the most wonderful, orgasmic, fucking la-di-da, like, give me more birth. It was fucking amazing.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Is that...
Hypnobirthing.
This is a weird question. It's not because you're into pain, is it?
No.
All right, so I'm just saying this. I know it's a weird question.
No.
But okay, all right. So maybe we'll dissect.
I'm actually a
the-
real big pussy when it comes to pain.
Really interesting.
Oh, shit. But I
Okay,
guess
okay.
not, because I fucking shat a human out of my vagina.
Right.
You know?
Okay. Well, we could get that because that's
We'll
interesting.
talk
That sounds
about
interesting.
hypnobirthing later.
All right, now, so you start Googling shit.
I get 15 seconds in. I get to this weird fucking looking plastic board with a little baby, like, ginger man cutout of it with, like, straps.
Oh,
and
Jesus
then
Christ.
this little itty bitty baby gets put in, and he's all wrapped up and looking pretty happy with his little pacifier in his mouth. They start unwrapping him. You can kind of see underneath the pacifier. He's not looking too happy about it. They unwrap his other arm. They strap him down. And, like, before he has, like, all 4 arms strapped down, I'm like, this is never fucking happening to my kid and should never fucking happen to anyone else's. And, like, just from, like, then on, I have been, like, a devout intactivist. Like, who the fuck can I talk to about not cutting off baby dick? Because, like, really, it's like... Some babies die. Literally, like, babies scream so loud that their fucking lungs collapse and they almost bleed out. Like, over 100 babies die a year. Like, you know, like, drop side cribs. Oh, get that shit off the market. You know, like...
Drop side cribs.
You know, when we were little, they had the
right,
cribs that you, like, pull down and, like, pull up.
Right.
So, I think, like, 17... babies got hurt through drop side cribs, and they're like, take that shit off the fucking market. No one can have that shit. Right. Fucking 118 baby boys, and that's just the ones that report it. Right. You know? Die. Like, they literally die.
Right. Okay. So, as soon as you watch that video, you're like, all right, this shit is never happening in my... Okay, so
Ever.
now you had a female.
Yes.
So... you didn't have to worry about that, really. It's not like they asked, you know, do you want us to saw off her clit?
Exactly.
We have rocks. I feel like, because I know a couple of you and maybe one other female that I know on Facebook who, like, consistently post shit about it. Now,
90% of what I post on Facebook is about baby dick and how not to cut it.
You and Michael Jackson.
And, like, the other 5% is, like, natural birth, and then, like, 5% of my actual life.
Mm-hmm. Now, what... is there anything, maybe not comparable, but is there anything that happens to female kids that is similar, where, like, they have to be strapped down and shit, you know? Because I know nothing about the birth process or babies or anything.
Well, I mean, if you want to, like, talk about, like, how birth was, like, in, like, the 30s and 40s in America, it has a lot to do with being, like, strapped down.
Really?
Yeah.
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 But the mothers?
Yeah.
Right. But not the babies themselves?
No.
Okay.
We didn't start doing bad stuff to babies. I mean, we were doing like bad stuff to like colored babies
Right.
for a while, but then like when it started getting like super Puritan in America, that's when we started like chopping body parts off of all babies.
So wait, explain that a little bit more. So you're saying
like
that
in the early history of like the Americas, like America, the United States of America.
A lot of babies and mothers especially would die in the process, obviously.
Yeah. And well, pretty much like as soon as birth got industrialized through like hospitals and got taken out of home and into the hospitals is when stuff really started going bad. And like hypnobirthing, if you read the book about it, it actually like talks a lot about that and like the philosophy. It's like one of the first pioneers within like the philosophy was like this man who would go to this poor lady's house and like all the poor people and like watch them give birth and help them give birth, being the doctor, you know. And then he'd also attend births in the hospital, and like hospital births were way gnarlier, more people died in them. Like it was just crazy. And what he kind of like figured it out, it's like fear-induced pain, you know. It's like so like say we're walking the woods as cave people, right? I'm knocked up. We're out in the middle of nowhere. Mm-hmm. It's not a safe place to fucking squat down and have a baby. No. I can stop myself from having a baby. Okay. I can literally, like, my environment will keep my body from having a baby to the point that
you feel safe.
Yeah, until the fetal ejection reflex really kicks in and like kicks the baby out of me, I have the power to say like no.
Okay.
Like just for like survival instincts, you know?
Okay.
And so when women are actually given the knowledge that they can have a peaceful, calming birth and then like trained to keep yourself in that thing, like hypnobirthing has a lot to do with like self-hypnosis. Like all hypnosis is self-hypnosis, you know?
Okay.
But yeah.
So what did it look like to you? You read a book.
So,
and then obviously you can't probably have that happen at the doctor's. Where did you?
So
did you go to like a pool?
You can do hypnobirthing in a hospital setting. You can do hypnobirthing anywhere. But so my birthing story was like, so first I was like, I want to do hypnobirthing, and then I wanted to do a home birthing, just because like hospital births are a fucking nightmare.
Okay.
And like.
Which, I mean, you can't, obviously you can, but like you can't blame them in some ways, because I mean, they do have to, there's not one doctor for each fucking mom, you know what I mean? Like you kind of have to work with what you can, and if that's the case, that we don't have enough doctors and or nurses to have this happen, or have it happen personally and safely.
With a stranger shoving your fingers up you every hour?
No, but
that's what happens in hospital births. In hospital births, they have people checking your dilation, which is totally unnecessary and doesn't mean shit.
Really? What do you mean? What do you mean?
It does not mean anything about where you are in the progression of labor. Like people who were like 3 centimeters dilated can have a baby in 45 minutes.
Okay.
It's not.
Now that's anything. 3 fingers. No, 3 fingers would be like 2 inches. No, wait. I don't know. It depends on the fingers.
It's like a centimeter each. And that's another thing. Exactly. So in the first part of your labor in a hospital, you have Kathy there. Those really slim, nice fuck me fingers, you know?
Right.
And then fucking...
Does she curve up? Curve up and back?
It's just this. You know, but then you have like Martha who comes in.
You get a squirt and the baby come at the same time.
You know?
That's gotta be one of the weirdest things I've ever said. I apologize. Continue.
But no, I actually was able to like rub one out. Another thing, no. So.
All right, so now we're getting real. In the fuck? Awesome.
A big fear of mine was like ripping, because you know that's a thing too. Like
right.
You also, if like you're birthing on your back with like an epidural and like stuff like that, with coach pushing, you're like 400 times more likely to like rip your pelvic floor. Yeah, okay. And So one of the things that I had read was like, blood circulation is super awesome for not ripping, because there are also like these stretches that like you could get your partner to do, and I was like,
You didn't want him to help you with that?
I mean, like, I don't really feel like a pussy massage right now. I'm fucking
I see.
6 months or like 6 months to like 9 months pregnant.
Right.
Like,
I thought there are some females who get fucking horny when they're. Did you? I mean,
I was sick as fuck.
Oh right.
I was sick as fuck for like 22 weeks, and then I was like happy-go-lucky for like a week and a half, and then like rapid weight gain fucking creeped up on me, and I gained like 70 pounds in like 20 weeks.
Fun times.
Oh my god,
I've done that
so
before.
exciting.
Right. Okay. So you didn't feel no sex vibe really?
No.
Okay.
That wasn't my thing.
Okay.
Though awesome. I mean, pregnancy is the best birth control in the world.
Sure. Right.
So.
Well, I've fucked enough mothers in my life, so I don't know about that. But okay. So you're saying, so what now? What exactly was this experience you had? You set it up at your home or someone else's?
No, we did it at our house. So I ended up having a midwife, a doula, and then my mom, my stepdad, my dad, and my daughter's father, and my dog there.
Okay.
So it was like a live show. I should have like charged tickets.
Right.
But it was amazing. So like at 2 a.m.
This was on your bed.
No. Well, originally, like, in 2 a.m, like, I couldn't lay down in bed anymore. He was asleep, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to let him sleep for a while, and then when I really need him to, I'll have him wake up, and he can set up the tub for me. And so at, like, 7, I was all like, wake this motherfucker up.
You had been up for 5 hours?
Yeah, I'd been up and laboring for 5 hours.
What in the fuck? What did you do for 5 hours?
Hypnobirthing, dude. Like,
what are you talking about? All right. Because I'm figuring like fucking Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman is on or something. You just watch that for until Price is Right comes on. What are you saying?
No, like, so I got up out of bed and like I sat on like the little yoga birthing ball and like I rolled around for a while and like I'd have my contractions. You time your contractions. When that got a little too much, I'd go and like I'd get in the shower and I'd sit in the shower for a little while, and after like 2 times of getting in and then getting out of the shower, I was like, no, I just want to be like totally in the water. Water helps so much. It's so ridiculous how much water helps.
Meaning bath, not shower.
Both.
Okay.
Like just even having like water on your back, even just like a little bit of like water in the tub.
This is some nature shit, dude. This is some fucking National Geographic shit.
If you really want to see like a wonderful, awesome birthing experience, just hypnobirth. YouTube. Do it. Like, it's mind blowing. It's like the first one I saw, I'm like, that's how I'm giving birth right there. That's how I'm doing it.
Okay. I've seen the ones that are obviously I've seen the kind that are straight up on your back with that epidural in the bed.
Yeah.
And then I've seen the ones that are in a kiddie pool or whatever.
Yeah,
and
in
that
the tub.
seems okay.
Yeah.
Now what if you don't mind going into it?
No.
So you were in a tent, not in a kiddie pool, or what was it?
It was like a big blow up actual birthing pool. It's like one that I rented from like the midwife. You get liners.
Okay.
So it's not like you're getting into someone else's pool.
Right.
But it's not like buying a $400 pool.
Right.
You know?
Sure.
So I
have a doula, a friend of mine, who's going to be coming on the show at some point.
Oh, bitchin'.
Yeah, she's also a Jewish gal, and
I wonder what her opinions.
Yeah, that would be interesting to hear her opinions. But yeah, that she's going to be a fucking crazy episode. Y'all listening right now know who the fuck I'm talking about. The fucking Jewess of all Jewesses. All right, continue.
But yeah, so we get up, we get the tub full, I get in. I remember that like, oh, you're supposed to keep your circulation going. So like literally like I got in at like 7:30 and like I had the baby at like 1:57.
Okay.
And so I was just like masturbating the whole time. Yeah. was
I
just,
thought you said your fucking stepdad is there.
yeah, like I give a fuck. I don't give a fuck who sees me as long as this pussy fucking stays tight, dude. Like, I do not want to think about ripping pussies.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? I do not
so
give a
you're wanting
fuck
to
who
be
sees.
dilated as a motherfucker. You
I want this shit.
open.
You know what I mean? Like,
You want it like a tired dog's mouth.
for real. For real.
Okay. All right. So, okay. For the love of God. All right. Now, you're doing this. Now, was this a natural thought or was this something you read in the Hypnopussy in the Hypnopussy handbook?
So, no, this is one of the many things that, like, I read. Like, I watched, like, so many different movies and, like, so many, like, I just really wanted to be, like, as prepared as possible because I just wanted to not have a baby in the hospital. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to have, like, everything underneath my belt that I needed to feel good about having the baby the way I wanted.
Of course.
Yeah.
Did you have a negative experience with hospitals beforehand?
With the Lyme was huge.
Oh, right. With your
yeah,
Lyme.
so I was
okay.
like undiagnosed for like years. Doctors were like literally
Seriously?
telling. Yeah.
Fucking Lyme disease I thought was like prevalent enough that people would check for it.
16 years ago?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like literally I racked up like $500,000 worth of ER visits after insurance. Like I was like losing consciousness in like lungs and like having to be like ER'd, emergency, like ambulance. Like, are you feeling okay, honey? Like, yeah, what's wrong? Oh, you're just flatlining to us in the other room, you know? Like, not good stuff. And doctors literally telling me, it's in your fucking head. You are crazy, you know? So it took us, so I was sick at CEDU for a year. I'm telling my mom on the phone, Mom, I've had a fever for a fucking year. They're not taking me to the doctor. It wasn't high enough for them to take me off campus.
Right.
And so I come back and I'm like, Mom, I'm still sick. And she's like, you are still sick. Huh, I see. You still have a fever.
Right.
And we go to the doctor and they're like, okay, we'll give you the blood test. And so they gave me the blood test, which is for the antibodies, which is in your system between 3 and 6 weeks. I'd been sick for 2 years at this point.
I see.
And so comes back with a false negative. And the doctors are like, well, you know, there is another test that we can do. After my mom was like, so I was on this website and I read that you can get false negatives. And he was like, I don't really want to jump through the hoops that insurance would make me do. So we're not going to do anything. So she's like, fuck that. Put me on a waiting list for a specialist in the city, which again, I was blessed that my mom could pay out of pocket for,
right?
You know, and then I was able to like get my diagnosis through him.
After 3 years, you said?
After like 3 years, and you want to know the really fucked up part?
What?
To the fucking day that I got my diagnosis was the last day that you could file a claim against the Brown schools.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you did?
No.
Oh, okay.
Because I got the thing the same day.
Right.
So.
Very interesting.
You know? So I'd had really negative experiences in the past, and like I don't really want to like, especially for like birthing in an American hospital is dangerous. For like, yeah, I'm pretty fucking white, but is on my fucking paperwork.
Right.
So birthing in America as a woman of color is fucking dangerous.
Really?
Yes.
All right. Why? What do you think?
Google how much likely you are to die as a black woman in America during childbirth than you are a white woman. It's ridiculously high.
Is it? I mean, because my initial thought is, are you sure it doesn't have anything to do with the body chemistry being different I mean, I'm not saying anything off the wall. I'm not saying anything concrete. I'm just speculating. Like, I mean, I'm a fucking stupid podcaster. What the fuck do I know? I'm literally throwing spaghetti at a wall. What I'm saying
it's
is...
hitting it.
What I'm saying... Anyway, I usually do hit the wall. But what I'm saying... Hey, dick joke. All right. Hey. What I am saying is that... Is it
Serena Williams almost fucking died?
Because there are bodily differences between races. You know what I mean? Like, sickle cell, fucking, you know, all kinds of crazy shit. I'm not saying it definitely. I'm just literally spaghetti at the wall. I'm not fucking.
I don't think a black woman and a white woman give birth too differently.
No. That's a good point. That's a good point. Sure. I'm sure one of them yells more than the...
I'll tell you, doesn't yell. Hypnobirthing moms.
All right. Well, that's interesting. Okay, so you Google. I can Google that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying that women who are more black or of color have more danger.
Yes.
Okay, it's interesting. Does it measure by city? Because I mean, what would be like San Francisco as an example would be probably.
We would hope that it wouldn't be that big of a difference, but I don't know specifically regionally.
Okay.
All I know is that it's not.
What would it in that whatever you read was it because of a? Do you remember what the exact reason was?
Well, so like if we take into like the Serena Williams account, I'm pretty sure Serena Williams is like one of the Williams sisters.
One of the Williams sisters.
So
That's
anyway,
racist.
basically a really, really predominant black lady who was carrying a baby.
Oh my god.
No, but I think she was bleeding out, and doctors weren't taking her seriously to like the point that she had to like go and be like, no, listen, motherfuckers, something is wrong.
Right.
Whereas like they were just like, so.
But I know yeah, okay, I can hear that. Maybe a factor of it is too is if the doctor is attracted to the woman, that makes a difference. Meaning if there's more, again, spaghetti at the wall.
No, it's the same thing. No, I understand exactly what you're saying, but that's like a social thing too. Like if you're like more inclined to want to please somebody because you're attracted to whatever it is.
Which is kind of human shit.
It's 1,000%
You can't breathe
There's
that
so
out.
much,
you know what I mean? Like
you cannot breathe that out.
You
but
can try to be
think
aware
that
of
out.
it.
You can
try to be aware
out.
of it, right? But
you know what I mean?
I don't know. Yeah, no, I hear you. Because I've had certain experiences on a obviously much different scale, but in the service industry, you know what I mean? Like if some girl is being a bit more of a pain in the fucking ass, actually, no. See, I like skinny white girls, but I absolutely have been.
Maybe that's because you like abuse.
I like what I like. I like abusing them. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. But I've absolutely been shitty to them as well. So I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just shitty to everybody. But it's interesting. Okay, all right. We can file that. All right. Now, what in the you got in the pool?
Yeah. So we're in the pool.
You're masturbating.
I'm jacking it.
Did you come at all?
Yeah. I actually was able to come and take a nap right before I hit into the third not the trimester, but like the third stage of labor. Like it was wonderful. I remember just like busting it out.
Right.
Like falling asleep.
Right.
Waking up, going from like,
now this is all clit. You're not.
No, I'm not like.
Okay.
I don't penetrate myself. To
okay. Hey.
I don't need.
Everybody's
that shit,
different.
You
hey.
know?
Okay.
I don't need it.
All right.
Yeah. Easy peasy.
Okay.
Lemon squeezy.
Right.
But anyway, so I'm doing it. I was able to climax. I took like a little nappy. I get on to like all fours in the pool, and I have like my arms on the side of the pool.
Is the water deep enough to cover all of you? Your back, at least?
I'm like a small person,
Sure.
so like it's pretty deep for
Right.
me. Like I'm able to like spread out like fairly well. I'm able to like contort myself in wonderful positions that gravity just was not allowing me to do outside of the tub.
Right.
It was just phenomenal. Just like being less heavy.
Okay.
While your body is like contracting, because like literally, so like your uterus has two kinds of muscles: across, hold them babies in, and up and down, push them babies out.
Right.
So in order to let the up and downs work, you need to be released and happy and like woosah enough to be able to stretch the keep the baby ins.
Okay.
So if you're not, you're just working against yourself, and it's fucking lame.
Sure.
And so if you know what's going on with your body, and like you kind of are able to be like, okay, this is this part of labor, you're able to like work it out within yourself. Yes, I'm supposed to be doing this right now. Yes, I'm supposed to be throwing up. It's okay that I'm throwing up like now. Whereas if like you have no education going into, why am I throwing up right now? It's like you're not going to have a baby,
Mm-hmm. They'll have to put you under so that they can take it out.
Exactly. And don't even like talk to me about like Pitocin and like all the horrible things that they do.
You mean the drugs?
Yeah, in hospitals, it's awful.
What if there was a way, what if you were in the position, did you already know that you wouldn't have to have a cesarean? Because I've heard that often they don't know until it's fucking go time. Like, what if you were in that position and it turns out you were not able to have the baby that way?
Well, so in our emergency plan, so if something were to happen where, like, my midwife would be like, you're not progressing, your vitals are not looking good, you haven't been able to pee or poop in this amount of time, let's transfer you. So, like, she has her plan, and, like, we transfer to the hospital that she knows.
That she trusts more than a non...
Right. Exactly, and it was actually, like, one of the reasons that we chose her was because the hospital that she worked with is, like, a 2.5 minute ride from our house.
That's great.
Like, it has, like, one of the best, like, NICUs that you could ask for.
Okay.
So, like, I have nothing against unassisted birth. If you want to unassisted birth yourself, go for it. Just please.
Unassisted birth meaning do it at the hospital? What do you
say?
No,
unassisted is just having a baby on your own without a midwife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And there are people who do that. I actually know someone on Facebook who's a fellow intactivist who just had her 7th child unassisted.
Good gravy.
Like, hers was her first unassisted, but her 7th child.
Okay.
So I feel like by the time you've had 7 kids, you're allowed to do it by yourself,
my
you don't have to pay for it after 7?
I have a family member who's I think she's had 6. And, like, she was, my other family member was talking about how, like, she had the baby and then was, like, on the phone, like, 2 seconds later, like, hey, yeah, no, I just had her. Like, it's just.
Here's my punch card.
Right, exactly. God bless you. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so we know at this point you're going to be okay. You don't need to have a cesarean. You don't need to. Well, it's not emergency time.
Don't tell me we know this, because, like, literally, like, at this point when, like, I'm coming up on my 2nd time of like throwing up, because, like, pretty much, like, the transition of labors are marked by women throwing up, you know. So, like, it's just like what your body does, you know. So by the 2nd time I was, like, throwing up, I was thinking, fuck, did I make the right choice? Can I fucking have
that's
a baby?
So sweet. I love humans, like, man. On a much lesser scale, I've done that so many times. Even in this fucking podcast, I'm like,
You're like, I don't know.
Maybe I should give up the podcast. I'm not a good podcaster. Anyway.
30's gonna kill it. 30's gonna kill it.
I knew I should have had this bitch talking about hypnotherapy. All right.
No.
So now, obviously, you knew your doula
so I had a doula and midwife.
You knew your midwife enough. There. You knew your midwives enough. They could be like, "Bitch, calm the fuck down. You're gonna be all right."
Really, okay. So it was hard for me finding the doula. Like, I didn't find my doula until like 26, 30 weeks, or not my doula, but my midwife, because we were in the middle of moving. When I got knocked up, I was in Pinole.
Okay.
And then I was like, do I keep the house in Pinole? Oh, it's just going to be so expensive to have alone by myself. I'm just going to get rid of it. You know, it's okay. Right. And then I was
you were an SJ at this point, as San Jose.
I was looking to live in San Jose by this point.
Which is, no human has ever done that, by the way.
Yeah,
I've talked about it many times. I love Blossom Hill. But outside of Blossom Hill, I don't like
Exodus
anywhere else.
Is what you want to do. Like, not that, like, San Jose is fucking wonderful if you have money. If you have
everywhere's
money,
good if you have money.
I guess.
Everywhere's good if you have money. If you don't have money, fucking everywhere sucks balls.
Kinda. I don't know.
Anyway, continue.
But yeah, so it was really late in the game that I found my midwife, but I had already done my hypnobirthing. So hypnobirthing, like, you can get the book, and then there are, like, hypnotherapists who, like, specialize in it. So we went and we got a class. We were super, super blessed because the place that we did, which is New View Hypnosis with Pam. Pam is fucking wonderful. I love her so much. She's like my friend on Facebook. She's ridiculous. But she, so she does the 6 weeks class, and then we get the book, and then a lot of the class is kind of like preparing not just for the actual physical thing of, like, birthing, but like they talk a lot about like the things that you need to know in a hospital, like about birthing, and they talk about like your birth plan and stuff like that.
Okay.
So like once I had like the hypno birthing underneath my belt, I felt like pretty good. And my daughter's father was kind of, before hypnobirthing, he was super apprehensive about a home birth. He was like, I'll meet you in the middle and we can do like a birthing center, but just home is just not what I feel comfortable with. But during the hypnobirthing, your birthing partner does it with you, and then there's a whole session on letting go of fears. And so after we did hypnobirthing, he'll even tell you that it gave him, it helped it click for him to like be able to like help me do what I need to do to like have the baby.
Right.
So you get like a whole bunch of like information, not only just from like the physical stuff that you're reading from the book, but then you get like how to actually hypnotize yourself and like get into that state. And then your birthing partner gets taught how to help you help self hypnotize.
Okay.
So it's like,
now before this, were you skeptic? Because I mean, maybe, all right, if it feels like, because I'm more of a skeptic in if someone is looking at it from like a ethereal, like oogie boogie type of, but you're talking about it more from a therapeutic standpoint of hypnotizing. You're not saying it from like a, it has good juju type of like witch doctor type of thing.
Yeah.
Or are you? I don't know.
No, like this is like, I mean, anything really is just fucking good juju if you really want to get down to it. Like,
but not okay. What I mean is like,
I'm not shaking a cat piss stick over myself.
That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like, not ethereal, but like supernatural.
Yeah.
You're not saying supernatural type of hypnotizing. You're saying you can work within the little clicks within your brain. You know what I mean? Like you can look at it from a logical standpoint.
Exactly. Like if really, I mean, you can look at all the trauma that the whole world has like gone through, and if you can objectify your trauma to the point that you can remove it from yourself and like look at it,
right,
you can do wonderful things with that.
Absolutely. Right.
So it's like, just because you're like having a baby and there's some intense fucking shit happening with your body, if you can
the human brain can do amazing shit when there are so many stories of somebody, a fucking car running over a kid, and all of a sudden the parent can lift the car up and move the kid. You know what I mean? Like some amazing shit can happen from the human body. Interesting. Okay. So you read the book, you had already done the training and were ready.
Yeah.
You were scared in the interim, but you could work with her.
So at this point, like after we had done the hypnobirthing and we had gotten the house, so we're like, yay, we know where we're gonna fucking be, so we can pick the closest hospital.
Right.
I was looking, and there was one hospital in San Jose that would let you labor in water. You can't birth in water. Once your water breaks, you have to get out of the water because of like risk to the baby, which is like nothing. There's no like, it's minuscule. It's so fucking minuscule. I mean, in a hospital though, hospitals are disgusting. So I mean, I don't know. Okay. But anyway, water births are safe for babies, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
So I don't know.
No, I'm here. Oh, you're saying you lost your track of. Okay. So fast forward. Last we checked on Alanna. She was worried about. She was but she had thrown up again, right, in transition, and now you were worried. You're like, fuck, should I have done this?
And that's the wall. That's the wall that you're gonna hit. That's the questioning. There's two walls in pregnancy. There's like one huge wall, like in third trimester, where you're like, fuck, can I do this shit? And like that's your nature kicking in, being like, you need to make your area really nice for a baby or else it's gonna die. Right. So you kind of have to like prepare and like second guess yourself and really like go through like the motions of being like, yeah, I'm fucking ready. And then you get to the wall of like, this baby is about to push its body through the floor of your being.
Right.
Are you ready? And you're going to be like, fuck no, I'm not. I can't fucking do that. What the fuck are you talking about? I have just been going through like the most physical activity that I've had to do ever for the longest amount of time ever totally like, I cannot stop this. It's my body physically moving over and over and over again. And like having to let it do that is so much work. But it was amazing. And I was like, no, fuck this. I can do it. And then a little while later, we had her pretty low in like my birth canal, and I could like feel down there, and I feel like the crown of her head. And I'm like, yay, I'm so fucking close. And then the contraction ends, and she just slides right back up there. I'm like, oh, fuck this.
Ah, stupid baby.
Yeah. No, but like for real. And so like in hypnobirthing, like the thing is like you're not supposed to push. You're supposed to there's fetal ejection reflex, which is your body, like women in comas can eject a baby from their body. Like pregnant women in comas can give birth to babies because there's this thing called fetal ejection reflex. Wow. Yeah, your body does it. And so we get down to the one push, and she slurps back up, and then I'm like, I'm fucking pushing. I don't care. I'm pushing. I don't care if they say not to. I'm pushing.
Right.
And so the next one comes, and I bear down super, super hard, and her head comes out. And I'm like, oh, that's fucking great and wonderful. And like I kind of like slip back down, and like my knees are kind of bent, my arms are still on the side of the pool, and the midwife is like, you're kind of sitting on her head a little bit. And so I just flip out and I stand up, and like in the video, yeah.
What do you mean the video? What do you mean the video?
Oh yeah,
what do you mean the video?
Yeah, I have 6 hours of me masturbating in my birthing pool, for real. Like 80% of my birthing videos.
This is the weirdest.
You know? We had the GoPro set up and
Ladies
everything.
and gentlemen, Conservatish, or patreon.com/conservatish. You know you gotta fucking support this shit. You know you gotta fucking support this shit.
Do it.
Continue.
It was amazing. And so her head's out. I'm standing up. In the video, you can see the midwife's eyes just open, like...
Hey, don't stand up, bitch. What are you doing?
Like, if you want a water birth, you gotta have your baby sitting in the water, because once her head's out and you stand up, she's breathing air. There's no sitting back down.
Now, what is the benefit of that? I don't understand.
Well, because the being birthed into water, like, so if you have a baby and your crotch is in the water and you give birth to the baby, you can hold your baby underneath water for a while and your baby won't breathe. Like, your baby's still attached to the umbilical cord, still getting your blood, hasn't had the trigger to breathe because it hasn't touched air on its face. So air has touched her face. She's now choked out of my vagina, heads out, breathing. And the midwife is all like, you can't sit back down now. This is where you are now. And so if I'm like, if I can't get back in the water, I'm popping her shoulders out right now. So next contraction, popped her shoulders out.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was amazing. And then we sat down. She looked at me, and she's kind of like, I don't know.
Wait a minute. Wait. So meaning once her shoulder's out, the baby's out.
Yeah, she's out. Once you pop the shoulders, everything is just like a wet slurping sound after that. And there's like shit in the pool, and like, yeah.
Right.
It's wonderful. There are people with little fish nets fishing shit turds out of the pool. Little rabbit
Literally
poopies.
poop too.
Literally poop too.
Okay, God bless you.
There's poop.
Okay.
There is lots and lots of poop. Yeah.
Is there anything a mom can eat beforehand to like not poop? Like it's or to like
Well, I'm sure there's lots of things that people do to make sure that they don't poop on camera. Like
I've never been able to stop myself. I just every time I see one, look at my phone. I mean, once I die, they're gonna go through my phone and be like,
"Uh-oh."
All right, now it looks like 2 girls, 1 cup in there. But I'm saying, okay, so you had this experience, and now you don't obviously sit back down in the water, do you?
No, I sat back down in the water. We sat down in there for a little while.
Okay.
Like the water has to be like a specific temperature for the baby to be born, for it to be like warm enough for like health, and also just like temperature wise for the little baby. So we're sitting in there. We're in there for a while. Everyone says hi. Everyone's crying. Like everything's great, and then it's kind of red in the water. So my midwife is all like, I think that we should get you out, because they want to see how much blood I'm actually losing. And so we get out and we make our way. This is when I still have like my placenta, like I haven't passed the placenta yet. And so
you have to pass the placenta.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Now that's got to be
It's
like
a second
a
birth.
small little. No? It's big? Son of a bitch.
I mean,
really?
It's not like another baby, but it's definitely...
Right.
It's not...
It's not Maxwell, but it's like a little... Is it like a...
I mean...
Is it like a rabbit?
I would
Remember
say
the
it's
rabbit?
a little... I do remember the rabbit.
You're not an internal girl, so you wouldn't... You know what I mean?
I do know about the rabbit, though.
Okay.
Just because I don't use it doesn't mean I can't know.
Very interesting. All right, continue.
But so we moved to the bedroom, and takes the two biggest shits my midwives have ever seen come out of a baby. Like the first one.
You're okay with sharing your daughter's name?
I mean, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, what are they going to do?
It's not like anybody's going to find you or whatever.
You know?
Okay.
And now you got me fucking weirded out.
I'm sorry.
Am I a bad mom because I use her name? You know?
No, you're a good mom because you're worried about being a bad mom. Now,
Okay.
you're saying she took a lot of shit.
Huge shit. Like, they cleaned shit off of me. Like, I've never seen so much shit come out of, like, anything before. It was just all the fuck over me. And then they clean me off, they clean her off, and they give her back to me. And then she rips an even bigger shit all over me. Like, literally, midwives, both of them are like, no baby has ever shit this much before.
Patreon.com/conservative.
And we do the thing, and then I sit up to breastfeed her, and I guess I lost a little too much blood. I ended up passing out. So
okay.
I did have like a little itty bitty scare, but nothing that like raising my feet above my head and drinking some chlorella didn't help.
Okay. Now, you passed out, but obviously they were watching the baby while you were doing that.
Oh yeah, that's the reason that there are two midwives there. So once the baby's born, there's a midwife for the baby and a midwife for the mother.
All right, I'm going to take a quick second.
Do it.
To appreciate females, because that is a female-ass job, first things foremost. Besides the fact that a female now, because I talk a lot of shit about girls, all right? And I mean every word of it.
It's kind of easy.
But look at how fucking all over that place. You can't have a dude fucking give birth, first things first. You can't have a dude be a fucking midwife and just do it. Think about the fucking military stance of I've never seen so much shit. I think we should stand you up from all this poop, feces, blood, placenta pool so that to make sure, like, that is some military ass shit. Like, that is, God bless you, females. Like, thank you very much for being so in charge of that shit, for holding it down. That's just...
It's a wonderful thing to have a vagina. It's such a blessing. I feel so blessed. Now,
I'll talk some more shit about females in a second. But now,
good, make me a little more comfortable, please.
Okay, let's talk. Let's pause that. Don't you know that? Okay, you feel what I'm feeling like when dudes, especially in the Bay Area, it's a little too easy to I'm a male feminist, and there's something slimy about dudes.
Don't even
like
talk
that.
to me about the word feminist. I refuse to be associated with anybody.
I love having a podcast. Okay, now we haven't even. Do you understand? We're at like 2 hours and 46 minutes. We've just broached
Before
this
I
subject.
say anything else, I just need to say you're not a feminist if you cut off your son's dick.
Wow. God bless you.
If you circumcise your son, you are not a feminist.
Interesting. Because
right. You can't fucking chop off fucking a body
You're into
part of one
genital
sex
mutilation.
and
Right.
then fucking not of the other. That's
Okay.
what it is.
So, anyway, maybe I definitely want to dissect that a little bit. But let's go back to this. So, you're saying...
I know this is going to turn into like so many podcasts. I'm so happy. You guys have to vote on what I should talk about next, okay? And it can even... I'm open to suggestions too. You know, whatever
Now,
gets the most votes.
Well, here's the thing. Actually, if you are a Patreon subscriber past $20, you actually get to ask me and our guests questions. So you can always email us in.
Dude, I will do things for $20. What do you want done for $20? Patreon, let's do it.
Yeah. That way you can say, I disagree with blah, blah. Why don't you talk about this more? Blah, blah. And then I'll
You
find
can even
somebody
call in and yell at me for $20.
You can actually you can't do that
Aw.
unless you're on Discord, on our Discord app. I hate how schmaltzy I feel when I talk about promoting my shit, but I have to do it. Discord, you can find past guests, you can find fans, you can find haters of the podcast who will now you can fight and debate with each other and with me. Thank you. All right, now.
Is that promotion or is that just asking somebody to have some fun?
Touche. I mean, a lot of people really fucking like the podcast, so it's like fine. I'm not begging for it, but I'm just saying.
He wants it so bad, though. He really is begging for it, you guys. I can see the look in his eye. He'll take it all.
She knows the look of a unicorn.
Oh, I do.
All right, now back to business.
Let's do it.
Enough of this shit. Now, as I get my moon cheese. So you have this experience. You unpass out. How soon into your process did you feel like, dude, being a mom, this is the shit? Like, how soon into your process? How many? Was it weeks? Was it months? Was it right away? Was it that
Have I
feeling?
supposed to gotten there yet? Like,
maybe not being the mom is a shit. But there's there's a weird feeling that I've heard some moms, not all, some moms say that they immediately were like, I will fucking die for this fucking kid.
oh yeah, that's brain drugs.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just a natural thing that your body does to keep you from killing your baby.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it's also why babies have like super big, cute eyes. Because it's all like, you really don't want to drown me.
Right.
I know I'm super hard to take care of.
Right.
And I wake you up every 3 hours. Mm-hmm. And if you are living in a society where there's only 2 people to take care of me, I know that's super rough. Especially if one of you, if not both of you, need to leave within 4 weeks of me being born. Like, there are reasons, like biological
and somewhere
reasons.
in our evolution, we would absolutely eat you. Like, we would eat babies. You know what I mean? Like,
we don't eat the babies.
Lions
we eat the placenta.
do that shit all the fucking time.
We eat the placenta. We eat the weak babies and the placenta.
Now, what do you mean by that? What do you mean?
I ate my fucking placenta.
Where am I going to go from here? Do you understand? I've had a proud boy. By the way, did you see the issue with the Proud Boy who? So I had a former Proud Boy who. So
was he a Proud Boy when he came on first, and then
Yes.
unproud boy himself?
Yes,
So
but not for the same reasons. Not for the same reason that everyone wants him to. Not everyone, but a couple of people.
People think.
Right.
I mean,
White supremacists. Look, I'm just gonna go on a quick rant real quick because these motherfuckers, these mostly white motherfuckers, were yelling at me online because I was providing a place for a racist, white alt-right. First things first, I'm half fucking Puerto Rican. Second thing, the Proud Boy's a fucking Mexican. So I'm Puerto Rican, he's Mexican, and yet white people are yelling at us about white supremacy. Fuck off, liberal shitheads. I'm just saying, I'm a part liberal too. So I'm fucking
part liberal
you fucking
too.
idiot ass
You're so
motherfuckers,
adorable.
you fucking assholes.
I mean, people like
Childish. It's fucking childish. Hate that shit. I mean, did you see the video I posted earlier today? Some kid who's dressed up like a Mexican goes and asks these college kids, mostly white, is this cultural appropriation? Yes, I'm offended. And is yelling at the kid and pulls off his mustache, blah, blah, blah. And the same kid dressed up, mariachi uniform, goes to a bunch of Mexicans. They're like, is this offensive? No, I like your costume. You look stupid, blah, blah, blah. They sold it to him and are making fun of him like they're not a fucking offended, but it's these white people who read a book. I read a book. Alt-right. Fucking assholes.
Well, I mean, you also need to understand, like, okay, so there's so many atrocities when it comes to, like, white people. When we get to, like, the whole, like, white people versus fucking everybody else, you know? It's like, well, who was the first white person to be fucking colonized? Who was the first white person to fucking have religion fucking raped down their fucking throat? You know, it's not just because they have been the ones oppressing for the longest doesn't mean that, like, they have not been oppressed within themselves. And
right.
Like, they're
and another thing too, if you really want to talk about history, oh yeah, okay, Catholicism did some awful shit. Muslim did some awful fucking shit too. There wasn't just one fucking what's the thing where the Christians were going around and not raid.
Crusading.
There was a fucking Muslim crusades. They were That's why they were fighting back and forth with each other. Muslim countries had incredible amounts of slavery that continued until like 1990. Bitch, don't fucking talk to me about fucking.
It's not a race thing. It's a people thing, and we can prove that within like the Stanford or what? No, yeah, the Stanford prison study, right? You know, it's not.
Everybody's shitty and wonderful. Everybody's shitty and wonderful. I know wonderful people. I know shitty people. No matter what your color, no matter what side of the fence,
everybody
no matter what
has
side
been
of the
shitty
aisle,
to somebody.
Everybody's been shitty to somebody. I just hate that right now these white people are trying to like make up for some weird. They're trying so hard to like feel good about themselves. They read a little bit of an article.
What else are they fucking supposed to do? What else are they fucking supposed to do?
Live. Listen to that. How about this? To start. Here's how they start.
As labeled oppressors, what the fuck else are they supposed to do? If you're a good person,
be friends with Pete fucking Feliciano. I'm 40%-ish white. Do I have to feel guilty 40% of the time? Let's figure it the fuck out. Give me an actual list.
No, I'm serious. I feel exactly the same way as you. It's like, you know, it's like I can pass white. Right? So does that mean that I'm less of color? And like, if you really want to get into it, like, this is where it really fucking fucked my head, because like, yeah, I can pass white, but you know, there's something.
But you can get a raza real quick if you need to.
Exactly. I can code change super, super quick. And it's a blessing and a curse, because one, you don't really belong anywhere, you know? But then like my daughter, who is fucking white, like blonde hair, blue eyes, paced life. Thank God she doesn't burn through her clothes like her dad does. But he's fucking white.
Through clothes.
Fucking clothes.
White.
Bubby, I don't know what's wrong with my balls. Did you wash these out before? Like, well, let me see. Oh, honey, we were on the lake all day. You have sunburned balls.
That's very interesting.
You know?
So, anyway, I just feel like here's a one way that can happen. Because these white people who are yelling at me for having a Proud Boy on here who's Mexican, and I'm the co-host, or I'm the host of the podcast, the starter and the originator and everything, and I'm half Puerto Rican, and a little bit of black too.
A little bit. I mean, you can't be Puerto Rican without a little bit of black.
Right. Now,
impossible.
Wait, are you Puerto Rican?
No, but my daughter is.
Oh, okay.
She has Puerto Rican in her, the little white bean.
Ah, see, dude, a lot of Puerto Ricans.
My sleeper cell.
Dude, my grandparents look fucking like, not like, and there's a lot of Mexicans on fucking telenovas and shit. Like, if you look at Univision right now, they look like fucking E.T. Yep. All right, now, but what I am saying is, how about the start of getting better is by actually listening to the episode. Like, those 2-3 people, one of them was Asian, the other 2 were white, who were like, this is not right. You haven't even listened to the episode. Over and over, I'm like, just listen. Just listen. I'm not defending. Yeah, you may be right. Just listen to the episode. Just listen to over and over. Like, just fucking listen. Like, it's not as simple as you think. This fucking... anyway.
It's cognitive dissonance, and, like, I come across this a lot when it comes to, like, being an activist, you know, when like you're talking about like social issues, people are gonna think certain things.
They're gonna see you're on this side, and once I label you as this side, that's all. I can't even listen to you on anything. Like, there are some people who, because I labeled my thing conservative, think I'm conservative. Like, no, I'm liberal on something. I'm conservative. That's why I called it what it was. You know what I mean?
Do you know what ish means?
Ish means bitch. You know what I mean? Yeah. And not just that, but like, I know a lot of people, like, you know, like the last guest was talking about, or 2 or 3 guests ago. Like, there are a lot of black people who aren't down with the gay shit. You know what I mean? Even though, but black victim, gay victim, so obviously everybody's all like, no, the DL exists for a fucking reason. There are a lot of people who are, you know, Muslim who don't like gay. There are a lot of people who are gay who vote Republican. Like, this is complicated. There's nuance. There's context. We're all, and I don't feel like anyone just on that side of the aisle. I have had lots of different types of people on this podcast. That's part of the goddamn point, is to humanize fucking everybody. Humanize fucking everybody. Because I know murderers from my experiences at prison. I know, I was at prison, but I volunteer at a prison. And I know murderers who I love with all my heart. I know one of them's coming on the podcast soon. I know people who have been good people their whole life, and I don't want to hang out with them fucking ever. You know what I mean? Like, I know we're all somewhere weird in the middle. Just fucking relax with the labeling. Relax with the fucking labeling. Sorry, I know I went on a rant for like...
No, I mean, it's good. And, like, one thing that I really think about, like, this, as soon as we stop labeling is when we start actually seeing each other for, like, who we are. And, like, obviously, like, if someone's a fucking piece of shit asshole who fucking consistently hurts you.
Right.
That's, like, one thing. But it's, like, I'll try not to hit you for what you think.
Right.
I might hit you for what you do.
Sure.
But I'll try not to hit you for what you think.
Right.
Unless it's about, like, infant circumcision and you're for it, then I'll hate the shit out of you.
Can there really be people who are like, from the most part, from an outsider's perspective, from somebody who hasn't obviously watched as many videos or read as many things as you have, but it seems like there's more kind of passive people who are into it. Like, it's not into it like, oh my God, I love circumcision, unless it's your religion thing. But it seems like in America anyway, it's mostly just these, you know, who are just like, oh, I guess I did it. This is my culture, so I guess it's just I'm just doing this. Excuse me, I'm just doing this now. You know what I mean?
Well, that's like how a lot of it is, but then there are the people who it's like, you know, how dare you say I'm wrong? You know, it's like, it's going to happen to me, it's going to happen to my kids, it doesn't matter. Like,
right. Weird life. Life is fucking weird. It's great, though.
It's so weird.
I think it's great, especially the thing that really, what makes life good is connecting with other human beings.
It's the only thing that makes life good. But really, if you want to get down to it.
But going to my rant point, we can't connect to each other if we're labeling
each other,
separating, you know, and especially cutting off the communication from, you know what I mean? I feel like Bay Area especially, there's a lot of motherfuckers who just don't know any Trump supporters, as an example, and so immediately when they hear one, they're just like, devil. It's like in the South, like you go to church with Trump supporters. You go to the 7-Eleven, and your favorite guy at 7-Eleven turns out one day he's got a fucking Make America Great Again hat on, and you're still friends. Like, maybe you might, you know, disagree on shit, but like you actually know, it's tactile. It's real right there. Oh, Jerry? I like Jerry. Fuck. All right. Well, all right. Like, you know, it becomes a thing. It's not like you're over there in some weird, you know what I mean? Like, you actually know you know people, and you start to realize this might not be as important as I think it is. Just like there are some motherfucking towns in the South who don't know any fucking gay people, and so they immediately think gay equals you hate God, gay equals you... No, I know a lot of fucking gay Christian motherfuckers who go to fucking church. You know what I mean? Who are more devout than your stupid fucking ass is ever gonna goddamn be. You know what I mean? Like, this is all somewhere in the middle. It's all somewhere in the middle. Anyway, how you doing on time? It's 11:45.
Whatever you want to do, bro. I'm at your disposal. You brought me Oreos. I will do things for however long you want me to do things.
See, girls, it's so much easier when you just... If all I had to do, walk into the club with Nabisco, bitch.
Have you done it before? Because I'm serious. Like,
actually, that might be legit. But no.
They are vegan.
People would be... Yeah, they are.
They are vegan.
Dude, I got fat as a vegan, dude. When I I'm serious. When I decided to be a vegan for 4 months, I got fucking chunky like a motherfucker. Because avocado and rice and beans and tortillas and fucking Oreos, Jell-O. I don't think I ate any Jell-O, but I think Jell-O's vegan.
Not vegan.
It's not?
It's not vegan.
Really?
Honey. Oh my God.
I love how stupid I sounded.
You're
That's so awesome.
Adorable. You're so
And I'm a
adorable.
unicorn. I don't know how I do.
Are you sure that grinded up horseshoes and like
bones
and cartilage?
Is that what it is?
Yeah, gelatin.
Oh well.
It's
They haven't figured out a substitute for that yet.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
fucking 2018.
Chia, flax. You can make some good stuff out of that.
Flax is the most nasty shit in the fucking world.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm telling you right now.
You have never...
I lived gluten-free for months because I dated this broad who and we lived together.
Celiac?
She was very sensitive to the shit or whatever, so I couldn't cook. I would run out in the middle of the night and get Taco Bell because fuck this bitch,
would.
and plus I was unhappy with her anyway. But I didn't cook and we ate flaxseed. There's a good way to do gluten-free. There's a good rice flour. Flaxseed can suck my fucking balls. Fuck
You
flax.
obviously did not do it right.
Flax. How could... All right, explain to me how flax does right.
How I like flax?
Sure.
I'll use like milled flax as like
Milled flax. Oh, like very fine ground.
Yeah,
like that old guy on the... Okay, I got.
Yeah. So you can like use milled flax in like if you get it hot and then you get it cold again. Hot milled flax. You know?
This is not happening. I don't know what you're talking about now. So you're saying if I went into the club with hot milled flax, hey bitch, walk up in the club
some hot milled flax?
I got rice pancakes,
flax
bitch.
on deck. But no, it's delicious. I love it.
So you don't consider yourself a feminist?
No.
Okay, why is that?
Because,
I mean, I'm sure it's got lots of pieces to it, but
I mean,
here's why I feel like I'm not. Here's why I feel like I'm not. Because the definition has changed. When the definition was equality,
even
I'm down
then,
for
okay,
that.
fuck that.
Ooh,
Fuck that.
Good.
Fuck that.
All right, because I'm trying to ease it in. I'm trying to ease it in. I have to have tact a little bit. I don't, but I try.
So why the fuck is someone rallying for equality called a feminist?
Okay. No, that's a valid question. What I feel like is, at the very least, the definition has gone so fucking beyond insane.
Yeah, it's misogyny.
Misandry,
yeah,
right.
Yes.
So it's born out of, maybe not initially back in the fucking 20s when y'all wanted to fucking vote and we, can't rape you.
You know
outside
that.
of
You
that,
can't sell me or like beat me with something smaller than your thumb.
right?
You know.
Right. So outside of that, it's now being born out of, all feminism, it seems to be, is born out of fear and anger, vengefulness, anger.
Everything is.
Right. And I feel like anything that comes from that basis is born to fucking die. Like, you know what I mean? Like it can't win.
No, it's not self-sustaining at all.
No. And so legit ass females that I know who don't consider themselves a feminist in the eyes of what feminism has become. You ever heard of Camille Paglia?
No.
She's a fucking badass. She's a fucking first wave feminist, not this fucking third wave, fourth wave bullshit, fucking intersectional until we fucking spin around in circles and hate each other and bite each other's tails. What it is like, okay, we want the freedom, what she put it as. When she was coming up in college, she was coming up in the Doris Day times where like they were telling females in college, we're now your parents. It was in loco parentis, meaning, okay, your parents have protected you, but now you're in college. You know what? Girls have a curfew. Guys, no curfew, because we have to protect you from being raped.
Yes.
And the females of that day, the feminists, the legit ass feminists of that day, were like, don't fucking protect me. Like, I can learn to protect myself, and I have cops if something goes wrong. You know what I mean? I can get some spray.
Need an early
I can
bedtime.
get some. I don't need it.
I don't need
fucking
an early
pander
bedtime.
to me. Don't talk down to me by giving me a fucking early bedtime. I'm 18, motherfucker. Don't treat me like a child. That's what the feminists of that day said. Mm-hmm. But now the feminists have spun around and are actually begging the government to be their parent. They're begging colleges to create kangaroo courts, like almost to the point of like if I had a bad date, then fucking kill this dude or ruin this dude's career, and don't even get the cops involved. No. Let's just have this small group of administrators, fucking administrators, be in charge of whether or not this kid can get a good job or continue to go to school, or is going to have to go home and live with his parents and be shunned like a fucking, like
and
a
end
pariah.
Up killing himself.
Creepy shit. And I feel like part of this, here's what I think. Let me see if you think this is right. Mm-hmm. Legit ass. Okay. The fucked up feminist version of today is often females who either haven't had kids or especially haven't had sons. There's something about a female who has had a kid who kind of understands that this isn't like that there are differences between the sexes, because you literally created something in your goddamn body.
Mm-hmm.
You did something that my body is incapable of doing. You know what I mean? But my bicep is often something
a little bit bigger than mine.
It's weird.
Maybe sometimes.
My bones for some reason have more density. Isn't that strange? So there's a difference, but the difference doesn't mean women are shit upon all the fucking time just because we're different. You know what I mean? Like, we have different strengths. I'll never be able to fucking sit in a pool and not
That's
just...
why, like, I like to call myself, like, an equalitist. Because it's like, no matter what it is, it's not because I'm fucking a woman. It's just because we're different.
Right.
And if we're all fucking different...
Right.
Why can't we all be equal?
Right. Yeah. Well, the thing is that what's weird about it is that it creates this weird victim class, and it's not good for us.
No.
On a human basis, you and I both know. We even talked about it earlier in the podcast. When I'm considering myself a victim, it literally writes me a blank check for any behavior that I have. Any behavior. Including and up to the point of, I mean, when the turn of the century happened, and in Soviet Russia there was the bourgeoisie, the rich people, and there was the proletariat. We were the shit upon class. So it literally wrote such a blank check that now we could hunt down these people and put them in cages or kill them and murder them because obviously they have money, we don't have money. Obviously they got it from us. So now it writes such a blank check that you can now kill people or round them up and put them in prison.
Yeah.
That's creepy shit. Obviously that's an end game that nobody wants. But you can't stop it once the motion...
It's happened so many times,
Exactly.
Though. Like, how many fucking times do we have to fucking do this shit? You know? Like, do we seriously need to just fuck each other until we all look the same before we can fucking evolve into the next station of, like...
There was one comedian who said, I think it was actually Gavin McGinnis, he said, the only way that we're going to be able to have equality is when a black... trans fat girl is a conservative, is an outspoken conservative.
Right?
Okay, now what are you gonna say, assholes? Oh, she must be just confused. Why? Because she's black? You fucking racist asshole, cunt, fucking.
You know.
It just feels good. That's part of the reason why I love this is that I have all kinds of people from all walks of life, and we just talk shit out. And you can get, just because I have somebody on who I don't 100% agree with, I don't know anybody I 100% agree with. Most people are like upwards of 60. Once you dip below 50, then I have I don't want to hang out with you.
There's
you know
a
what I mean?
name for it, but like in some like Amazonian tribes, like there are like 10 elders. One elder, like if everyone agrees, there's one person's job to disagree and to like give the other point of view, because as soon as you get a bunch of shit like people agreeing on one thing,
then you know something's wrong.
Exactly. You know something's super fucked.
Right. This is very interesting. So how does that run into your experiences now? I mean, you're not very vocal about it on Facebook, I can tell that, but like, nor should you, probably. Leave that to me. But like, you know, what does that look like in your social life?
I've actually been like super blessed to have like been able to like find my people. Like, I don't like really interact with anyone that like I don't want to interact with.
Right. Like
within my day, and like I have a huge community of people who like openly love and like support me for like who I am.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty bitchin'.
I've heard horror stories that like, because I've talked about it a number of times, but it's rude to bring up politics when you're not in a political talk. Like when you're, so like as an example, there are sometimes, who was talking about it? Bill Burr was talking about it on, you ever heard of Your Mom's House podcast?
No.
Christina Pazinski and Tom Segura, very funny people.
I love Tom Segura.
Yeah. Christina Pazinski, his wife, is fucking really funny too. And on this episode they have with Bill Burr, and he was talking about how he was newly, he's a dad now, and how he was bringing around, and like, there are these parents who will interject their opinion to like someone else's kid. You know what I mean? Like, where like you'll bring them around, you'll be talking blah blah blah. Oh, actually, did you know gluten is probably bad for you? Like where they'll just decide to like interject their opinion or interject politics. That's some rude ass shit to do.
I don't give a fuck about that, because you want to know why?
Why?
Because sometimes, maybe, I need to fucking hear that shit.
Okay, so you don't. It doesn't bother you. Okay, maybe on a different. What I mostly meant by that was saying, like, if I'm driving Uber, what I have found in the Bay Area is that people just assume automatically that I believe the things that they believe, and so they'll bring up politics, which is. It used to be rude. Nowadays, it's like, for some reason, it's not frowned upon. But like, if we're like, you know, like I was saying about the guy from the South, like if we're just surface. If we're surface friends at best, and we're just like saying hi, I'm at the fucking grocery store, or we're at where I'm driving you, or I'm taking an Uber. I think it's rude to bring up that type of shit. I think it's rude to interject. You know what I mean? Like opinions that would. How does it play in well with you when it comes to
like for
parenting?
me and like my.
Because you seem to like you have a lot of opinions about lots of different things. So how does it work well when it comes to like parenting, as an example?
Like so, like I have a lot of opinions about like a lot of different things, but like I love hearing opinions just as much as I love talking about mine.
Okay. I turned my.
Okay. Down. I don't hear you at all anymore.
I'm chewing. Oh. I'm chewing moon cheese. I apologize, Princess. Go ahead.
I don't know. I enjoy other people's opinions. I do not need to harbor other people's opinions. I can hear them and not have to fight with people about them. Most times,
you know how adult that is?
I know.
That's pretty fucking adult.
But it's not that it's adult. It's just that I will kill myself any other fucking way. Like
because you never have it. If you can't hear someone else's opinion and not be swayed automatically, you won't be able to work. Because someone will share. This is why I shouldn't eat moon cheese while I talk.
Don't die. Please don't die.
I'll do what I want.
But, I know the Heimlich and CPR, so don't worry.
Don't put me in a pool, goddammit.
It's okay. We've done that too. There might be poop in it after, but you won't be dead.
Woohoo! But I feel like that's a mature thing, because if you were swayed by every opinion, I mean, I've talked about it before, but like that's been such a great thing about doing this podcast. By fucking
every opinion, like we'd literally like
couldn't do anything.
No,
because someone will share their opinion about something, and you'd be like, "Oh my god, I'll do it for you. I'll change," and you know, sometimes it's people sharing something that's good, but sometimes it's like when I've talked about this too. You ever heard of Richard Spencer? He's considered very alt-right and he probably
show me a picture. Wait, mustache
you're talking
glasses?
About Hitler. What are you talking about? No mustache.
No mustache. Okay.
No, ma'am. Anyway, he's a little racial. I wouldn't say he's racist, but he's more of like a boring, wet, pathetic type of dude. He just looks like a dude who's had like 2 sexual partners and like high-fived his bros right afterwards. You know what I mean?
With 2 sexual partners.
Come on.
Nothing wrong with
Come
that.
on.
There's not.
Yes, It
is not. The things that you can
for
do.
For a guy. Because here's why. Why am I echoing here? For a guy, there's something about this saying. It was talked about on the last podcast, actually. A guy has sex with who he can. A girl has sex with who she wants. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying from my personal experience. Anyway, all I'm saying is Richard Spencer is like, oh, be careful of Richard Spencer. We need to block him from this and block him from that. And he's KKK and he's all right and blah, blah, blah. And I don't want to be protected. Don't treat me like a child. You know what I mean? Like, you know, so I actually did a little bit of digging into research, like, because I can hear racist views without suddenly becoming racist. You know, I'm not a fucking child. You know what I mean? Don't protect me from shit. Don't put blue dots over the porn. Apparently, in England, Bill Hicks went to England in the 90s, and they will put blue dots over the porn. Like, don't protect me. Don't blue dot me, goddammit. And I researched Richard Spencer, and I'm like, he's kind of pathetic. He's not that big a deal. He's not the new wave of the alt-right. He's an ineffectual, he's just kind of boring. He's just sweaty and boring, and there's nothing about him that is scary. He's not some fucking Hitler. He's talking rah-rah to like 4 different people. You know what I mean? Like, this is not a big deal. Anyway. Anything else you'd like to say?
I have to pee.
I know, me too.
Okay.
That's all you want to... Do you want to... I mean, we're at 3:15 right now.
I mean, it's whatever you want to do. Like, I'm here. I can talk forever. Give me another lewd subject to talk about, and we can talk.
Let's pause it now,
Okay.
or let's stop it now, because I think I have to get up at like 6:30 anyway. So I should probably
do it.
I should probably end it. Is there anything else you'd like to plug?
I mean, like, pretty much.
Did you bring up all your notes? Did you all your notes? This is our first guest who actually brought notes.
Well, I mean, like, I'm talking about like a serious thing sometimes when I'm talking about cutting baby dick.
Right. Ass eating.
Yeah. So serious.
It is very serious.
Serious.
Because I'm all about. Have you eaten man ass?
Yeah.
God bless you. God, what a good girl. God bless you. I'm just gonna stand up. Because I'm like, I would never. I'm not never, but like, yeah. I mean, I just but girl ass all day. Because you're girls. I mean, maybe that's the only difference.
Because we're girls.
But like, do you have to like shower the dude?
I mean, do you shower before you ask someone to eat your ass?
Oh, they request it. That's all. That's so sweet.
Like,
that's so sweet.
If
a little finger in the a little if requested.
I mean, like, the thing is, like, if you are
don't put your man on blast.
Somebody,
I'm not saying whatever.
Oh, no. Don't worry about that shit. Yeah. Like, just prepare for anything that may happen.
Anything that may happen. When you're in the zone, you're in the zone. When you're in the zone, you're in the zone.
If you have a clean ass, I might eat it. If you don't, I'm probably not gonna.
Right.
Do you
like the reaction you get from it?
The reaction I get from it? I mean...
Or is it just, you're just a good girl, you're just a down bitch anyway? It doesn't matter for you.
What
is there benefit to you from it?
I mean, what is the benefit of any sexual thing besides coming? I can come by myself. Obviously, like, sex is about...
Yeah, but I like getting fucking... and I've heard it from lots of different... It's different for everybody. But I'm interested to know.
I do enjoy, like, providing stuff.
Pleasure, things. And...
More than just, like, it's not... I don't feel that sex is just pleasure. I mean, obviously, sex can just be about pleasure, but, like,
connection as well.
That's because you can have sex by yourself.
Sure.
You can fuck yourself. You can get off and come and have all the fucking just party you want.
Birth pools
by
you
yourself.
want. Whatever you need.
Exactly. But in order to actually physically connect with somebody, and you can do that also without sex.
Sure.
So
a piece of what you get from eating ass then is that you not only are providing things, but you're also connecting with another person.
Yes. I am connecting.
That's so deep.
Mouth to ass. It's
what
emotional,
what a
spiritual level of connection.
My hat's off to you.
Like, and if you can make the full ring, man, that's like synergy right there. It's like perpetual. Go
to hell. This is so much fun. All right, we're gonna stop the show because I'm really tired, and this is an awesome show. Listen, first things first. Let me be really real. Thank you so fucking much for coming on.
Oh, you're welcome.
Means a lot to me, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I know that you came a far distance, and you had your notes, and you're fucking ready and prepared. But I'm glad you did.
I did my best. I hope I did good enough for everybody.
I think you did fucking amazing. We're at fucking 3 hours and 20 minutes. If I didn't want to talk to you more, I would have stopped. Okay. You know what I mean? Never mind. I'm not gonna. Anyway.
Well, I hope everyone enjoyed listening to like me talk about stuff, and if you want me to talk about more stuff, just let us know.
Yeah, and
spend some money. Let us know.
Right, go on Patreon.com/conservatish and contribute to my music and you get goodies that other people don't get. You get to provide for me.
Yeah,
I will eat your ass.
Yeah,
above $50, I will tongue it. I will tongue your crack.
Hey,
if you want to fight with me or with someone else, if you want to, have some joyfulness, then go to Discord and find it there. You can also find me, if this is coming out next Thursday. Who's texting me? Oh, okay. This is coming out. Yeah, this is coming out Thursday. So then you can find me at Duvin Wine Bar in Oakland. I'm playing there in 8:30 to 11-ish. In the Montclair district, so don't worry, white people, you can go.
I love Montclair so much.
And then also you can find me on Sunday, December 16th at Amelie Wine Bar on Polk Street in San Francisco between 7 and 10. And I will be playing in Los Gatos January 19th at Testarossa Winery between 5:30. No, it's 1 to 3. I should know that if I'm plugging it. Just go to my fucking Facebook, goddammit.
You'll be able to read it. It'll be okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And also find me on Instagram at Peter_Feliciano. Is there anything else you'd like to plug?
Yeah, just Bloodstained Men and Their Friends. If you're interested in any more like the circumcision topic, Bay Area and Tactivist is another great resource.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, fucking right on.
All right. Thank you guys so much for having me and listening. If you got 3 hours into
God
me
bless you.
talking.
No, dude, there's some... God bless anyone who listens to my stupid ass. Well, first things first. But, yeah, I really appreciate you coming on. And we'll see you guys around. Bye, everybody.